Hey there, time travel astronaut. It's been 10 years since I got into this hobby, and it just so happens that a lull between games lines up perfectly with the 10-year anniversary. So I decided to replay Shadowrun for the Sega Genesis, because a lot of people message me and they say, when are you going to play it again? Play this game again. Do this other build. And, well, here we are, right? This game was made in 1993. It's 2020, and we're playing it. It's like we're traveling through time. Wonderful. Well, let's get in. A new game. Last time we played a shaman. And some people say to play shaman. Now, I really like the shaman because a samurai can become a decker, and a decker can become a samurai, and even a shaman can become a decker. But you can't go the other way. Like, the samurai and the decker can't become a shaman. But I've read some interesting stuff that, technically the elf mage is better. And then there's Walking Bear on Council Island. She's, like, on paper, I think, a better shaman based on the stats that non-humans get. But I wasn't blown away with shamans. We're actually going to play a decker. Because at the end of the day, you need a decker in your party to make money. So let's just start off with a decker, because then we can just start pumping up our computer skill right away, right? And I think the decker's physique more appropriately resembles someone that's going to get fucking cold clocked in the Redmond Barrens. Like, look at this guy, like, fucking uppercut me, trenchcoat guy, you wish. It's just like, I'm Wolverine and Dirty Harry. You can't punch me, trenchcoat man. He can punch all those people, so it makes way more sense to be this guy. Like, hey, fellas, is there a problem with the modem? I can't connect to your Wi-Fi. So we're going to be the decker. We're going to fucking hack the planet here. Go. The time, January 31, 2058. The place, Seattle, UCAS. Under the cover of darkness, a team of Shadowrunners moves through the Shalisheed wilderness, right over there. Without warning, they're ambushed by unknown forces. Oh! The Trivid was recovered and made national news. Michael, your brother, was the last to die. Spending your last New Year to go to Seattle, you vow to avenge your brother's death. I fucking forgot how fast this text moves. This intro moves at the speed of light compared to some other games I've played. Landing at SeaTac Airport, you flag a cab to bring you to Michael's last cred stick transaction, Stoker's Coffin Motel, located in the Redmond Barrens. There's the airport, there's the hotel. Now, before we start, I want to take a moment to appreciate the fact that one of my brother's friends mastered the art of magic, and then on a secret illegal Shadowrun, while they were under fire, thought the smartest choice was to sit crisscross and then float up in the air, so every single bullet would hit center of mass, aka his fucking skull. Not surprised at all that guy died. Also, from what I know about the Shadowrun pen and paper, you should always be in cover. It looks like those dudes are just kind of like running through the forest haphazardly shooting. They all deserve to die. The battered sign reads Stoker's Coffin Motel. Motels like these are cheap, each room only large enough to fit a small bed. Dumps like these tend to attract the dregs of humanity. Tell me more. The manager yawns. I won't bore you with the welcome speech, so what do you want? Well, I'm here to pick up Michael's stuff. So you're Michael's brother, eh? Your bro skipped on paying his bill, and I'm holding his stuff till I get the back rent. Let's make a deal. You pay up the 250 new he owes, and I'll fork over his stash. Can you imagine this economy in 30 years where 250 new is a lot of money? 250 new is probably what a fucking burrito's going to cost in 2050 at this rate. How much could he have stored in one of those rooms? 250 Nuyen? Hey, if you need Nuyen, head up the street to the Jump House. Gunderson's always looking for runners. You'll find him in a booth towards the back of the bar. I'm sorry, I can't pay my hotel bill. Well, have you considered doing illegal work? Holy shit, these guys have. He's going to Gunderson, get him. All right, let's take a brief moment to freeze time here. I have an American L36 light pistol, which I think is slightly stronger than the jelly bean dispenser they give the shaman. I think this kind of looks like a pistol from World War II. I think my grandfather nicked this off a Nazi. Not very powerful, but we're a better shot than the shaman. Right out of the box, I think. Speaking of, let's check our stats. Attributes / skills. Human Decker. Body 2, quickness 5. Quickness 5 determines movement and attack speed and increases combat and cyber combat success. That might just be enough to fucking power walk our way from these guys. Intelligence 4 determines attack speed plus increases combat and cyber combat success. Willpower resists damage from mana. All right, you know, for a guy that's all about computers, he kind of believes in magic. He has actually almost perfect essence. All he has in him is that data jack, which is 0.2 essence. I remember that fact. I haven't played this game in about a decade, but I played it so much as a kid. Just certain things, they're right there. They're right there in your noodle. 0.2 essence for a data jack. Just a common fact. 0 sorcery, which can't go up. Really, we only have 2 firearms. I swore the Decker started with more. Decker starts with 3 computers, which is pretty good. I think skills go to 13 or 12. Attributes go to, I think, 6 on a human. So he's really quick. Well, like, yeah, probably spends his whole time running away from people trying to pants him. You'll see. One day I'll be a hot Decker. I'll be super whiz. Yeah, whatever, man. Yeah, only level 2 pistols. That's got to go up. Computer 3. You don't start with a cyber deck. That's my only problem with it's my only problem with Human Deckers. That's just like a cardboard. He's just LARPing right now. Oh man, if I ever get a cyber deck, this is what I'll look like. Oh, we don't have one yet. Melee combat 1. I think that's forged. I would not like. I know skills go to 0, so his melee combat should be 1. His throwing is 0. His melee combat's 1 though. Wild. Computer increases success in cyber combat and the operation of nodes. Biotech determines success while using a medkit. Electronics, that's dope in Maglocks. Reputation determines overall notoriety of character. And I found out one day, because sometimes I like to Google myself to make sure that like there's not secret societies that hate me. And they were talking about Shadowrun on GameFAQs. And someone went to the trouble of watching my playthrough, and they noted that reputation is what causes the Renraku strike teams to attack you. Because like there's this brief window between a story token I grab, like I think it's Oto or Oti, I forget the characters' names. But there's like a story milestone, and then you still don't get attacked by strike teams. And then I leveled up my reputation, and then I got attacked by strike teams. So low reputation, we won't be able to get into bars, but it'll keep the strike teams off our ass. So we'll probably keep this low for a while. Negotiation increases Shadowrun payments and influences buying and selling. I kind of want to keep this low too, but I think with all the computer software we're buying, we're going to need high negotiation. You know, like whenever someone tries to sell us computer software, we just go off on a diatribe about bitcoins, and then they relent and give us a discount. I don't fucking take bitcoins. Only Nuyen. Well, you know, it's cryptocurrency. It's the future. I like to imagine Joshua talks very nasally. 250 million. How much stuff my brother fit in there? Sort of like Doofus from DuckTales. Which, that sounded nothing like. Alright, let's get out of here. We're running for our life now that we're caught up. Like, you're a decent shot. The problem with the shaman is, even when it connects, the recovery time on a spell is way worse than a recovery. Like, look at this. Bang, I'm walking again. If you successfully or even unsuccessfully cast Mana Zoop, like, look at that. Look at that. Well, I mean, we gunned down 2 people in the streets, welcome to America, but we didn't get hit. Oh my god. Did you gun down my friends in the street? Yes. Yes, I fucking did. Look at this quickness 5. Oh, what are you gonna do? Ooh, that's just free money. We could sell all our medkits right now. Oh my fucking god. Hey, he's playing Shadowrun again. Get him! These guys have just been waiting for 10 years. With 3 medkits, we could sell that right away. and buy our brother's stuff, but we don't want to get that story token. Because then the Dock Wagon wristband sends us to downtown Seattle when we get killed. And we're in great shape with these fucking... I think I got wheelies in my heelies, I'm going so fast. I want to stay in the Redmond Barrens for a while, grind up some money. The Jump House is a typical small bar inside the Barrens. The standard slime frequent it. An occasional Shadowrunner sometimes slips in its entrance. That's me! I don't think I'm on the box, but I am a Shadowrunner. You see a fat man licking his fingers in the far corner booth. I wonder... popcorn chicken or beer battered shrimp? What kind of greasy snack do you think he's eating? Or maybe just oysters, just something repulsive. Hoy, friend, don't be so obvious. Old Stoker likes to toss the name around, but if you want to stay healthy in the shadows, you do well just to refer to me as Mr. Johnson. There's our old friend Gunderson with the barnacles on his head, which, you know, now that I've learned a little bit more about Shadowrun over the years, is I'm pretty sure he's got some cyberware in his head and not a crippling skin condition from being part Seaman. Should have said Fishman. But, you know, it's the 2050s, transhumanism, maybe he's part cum. But enough about you. I'm looking for some information, Mr. Gunderson. Info, eh? Well, chummer, I might be able to help you there. Since you're pretty green, I'll offer some free advice. Most Johnsons don't mind telling you basic information, so there ain't a charge for that. Tell me more. But if you want some special contacts, the type who can help you out, well, that costs. Usually somewhere up in the thousands of Nuians. I don't have any Nuian, so... Just more information. Hurry up and ask them. What exactly is a Mr. Johnson besides a nickname for my penis? Geez, you are green. A Johnson is your meal ticket if you're going to be a Shadowrunner. Let's take me, for example. My name's Gunderson, but you should refer to me as Mr. Johnson, out of respect for my anonymity. Tell me more, Mr. Gunderson. I receive jobs from those who don't want to dirty their own hands. I contract out those same jobs to runners like yourself. It's a food chain, and you're the little fish. Another question? Nope, just talking about penises again. Different subject. Let's try to get some work. So you want to go on a Shadowrun, eh? Well, old Gunderson's got a beauty for you. There's a community of ghouls, you fuck! My fucking god. There's a community of ghouls somewhere in the Redmond Barrens. They've been preying on the citizens there. Kill as many as possible and return here for payment. If that's the first job that Mr. Gunderson offers a new Shadowrunner, is I'm under the impression that he's actually a Mr. Johnson for the ghouls. Hey, can you send some, like, tasty flesh to us? Sure. You can count on me, because I'm Mr. Johnson. Tell me more about how this is a fucking scam. You're offered 20 Nuian for each ghoul killed. After negotiations, you come to an agreement. Payment for this run is 30 Nuian each, up to 20 kills max. What do you say, friend? No. Whatever you say. You need some creds, you can always work for me. Yeah, not for the fucking ghoul monger. Looking for work. Oh, you think you're hot shit, don't you? Now he's just lowering his price. No. I don't think you're ever really equipped to do a ghoul run in the Redmond Barrens. Could you fuck off? A little less beer in his beer batter shrimp because he's clearly fucking drunk. No. I swear to God. Go to the Rat's Nest in the Redmond Barrens. A contact there will give you a package. Take it to Boris's greenhouse in the Redmond Barrens. You'll be paid upon safe delivery of the package. Tell me more. You're offered 45 Nuian for the run, and after negotiations you come to an agreement, tosses in an extra $5 to make it an even 50. What do you say, friend? That sounds like a deal. Mr. Johnson logs the run in his pocket secretary and downloads the information to you. Thanks, my friend. You keep coming to me and I'll keep giving you ghoul runs. Yeah, no shit. Fucking goddamn it. I've already forgotten what we're doing. Current run. Go to the Rat's Nest. That is in the southwest. And take it to Boris's greenhouse, which is in the center north. What's this? Is this some sort of asshole patch you're running? Sheer coincidence that he can offer you ghoul runs out of the gate. Although I will say we are running a ROM hack that removes, if I installed it right, removes tar pits, but not tar paper. So if you recall, tar pits permanently delete the program when you trip them. Tar paper just removes it from active memory and you have to jack out. Because I hate tar paper. It's just like when you're investing hundreds, I think it's actually over 100,000 Nuyen to max out the attack program, and then you fucking burn that on a tar paper, or sorry, a tar pit. Ugh. You just reset the game every time. No one's gonna roll with that. So if I set it up properly, there's no more tar pits. Which is good because we are Decker. Tips and clues. Michael's last cred stick transaction. Stoker's Coffin Motel. Must pay Stoker 250 Nuyen to get Michael stuff, which, yeah, we have 300 Nuyen worth of medkits we could sell right now, but I'm kind of tempted to sell these for some new body armor or a new gun. Let's do this one mission. The Rat's Nest. Hello, I'm here to pick up definitely not a box of cocaine. A Lone Star grunt approaches. He questions your identity and hands over a package. Just says police evidence. Cocaine. Actually, you know what? I recently watched a documentary about drugs, and apparently you freebase the cocaine to make crack, and that's cheaper and easier to sell. And I think in the Redmond Barrens, they do crack more than they do cocaine, so it's probably crack in those little vials. He grins devilishly when he sees the package. Now I can do some serious fixin'. He pays and escorts you to the greenhouse. I would like it better if his portrait had a little bloody nose. Do you got the package? I do, Boris. All right, let's take our drug money. Whoop. Speaking of drug money, might be able to take it from their pockets. That guy was just in the nook by the hotel like fucking West Side Story, snapping his fingers. Well, if it isn't a Decker. Oh, jeez, how am I going to get out of this one? I know, I'll just shoot you in your fucking windpipe. Been playing VR Wolfenstein 4D since I was a child. I'm probably a crack shot. Yoink. How are we doing for money now? We're up to 105. A large man with the Ares logo on his huge coveralls grins at you over the counter. You'll love this place, sir. None of that wimpy stuff here. No way. You just point out what you want. His huge coveralls. Now, do you think they're baggy or do you think he's a big guy? All right, what do we got in the gun department? That's the shitty one that the shaman starts with. It looks like it's for a lady. Like something a prostitute would put in her purse. There's me. Yeah, well, actually, what the fuck? Light damage, light power, light damage, light power. My gun seems inferior and cheaper. Now, this is the one we want. The don't touch my fucking video card gun. In the world of Shadowrun, there are probably BTL chips. You know, now that I've learned more about Shadowrun, I have to agree with you, and I have to ask, do you think it's just a BTL chip about doing crack? We don't do drugs in the future. We enter a virtual space and do drugs there. It's like VR chat, but with crack pipes. The Predator heavy pistol is 675, but I think it's also like the end of the pistol progression. I mean, you get a max power heavy pistol. The Warhawk, yeah, but I think, well, the RoboCop gun was a burst pistol, but we can't afford the Predator, but once we buy the Predator, we're like done buying weapons on Joshua. And we're going to keep one med kit just in case we're on the verge of dying. Although, here's a hot tip. It's actually not a very hot tip. Little Chiba's Chop Shop is recognized as one of the most competent cyberware installers in Seattle. Their technicians and surgeons are extremely skilled. Thus, they have the ability to install powerful cyberware. Tell me more. A salesman walks up. I have a great amount of cyberware. Please, feel free to browse or buy. Our medicinal. We've got a hookah bay over here you can hook up to. Our medical facilities are also available if you require treatment. I am in need of your services. Step this way. Medical attention for the low price of 20 nuyen. I can get my blue back. But the problem is I think you'll always recover your mental blue health at the hotel, which is also 20 nuyen. So that's not a good purchase. I would love to leave the hospital. And I actually learned that very recently. I was doing another Let's Play for Shadowrun because I wanted to have a Let's Play ready for today, the 11th. And then I was going to stream a ROM hack called Shadowrun 2058, which tries to bring the rules closer to, I forget already, tries to bring the rules closer to 3rd edition, because I think this game was made during 2nd edition, but then 3rd edition came out. And it like rebalanced a bunch of decker prices, which is why I was looking forward to being a decker. But apparently it had a bunch of problems. The biggest problem is that there was a 50-50 chance when you walked into a bar that Mr. Johnson would be an enemy, and you wouldn't be able to leave the bar because it thought you were in combat with him. So supposedly there was a 50-50 chance every time you walked into a bar that the game would soft lock and you have to load it, which would be fucking miserable for a stream. And then my Let's Play fell apart because I was trying to do a melee run, which I didn't plan out properly. So I had to abandon that, so here we are now playing. But in that run, in that Let's Play, I found out you can go to the little Chiba and like heal yourself back from almost passing out on blue damage because that's cheaper than a med kit. Anyways, I need work. Don't say fucking ghouls. You motherfucker. Did you say don't say ghouls, Josh? No, I didn't. Go to the Hollywood Correctional Facilities in the Redmond Barrens. There you'll meet my client, Ellis Goodson, and escort him to the Rat's Nest just across the street. Tell me more. This is a bargain. $65. Help this old man cross the street? But yeah, Shadowrun 2058. It sounded interesting, but it had some grammatical problems, and it was mostly the bugs that put me off, because I didn't want to have to like load state every time the bar broke on us. Hey, there you are. Boy, am I glad to see you. It's getting so a guy can't walk the streets alone. Well, let's get moving. I'm on a tight schedule, and if anybody tries anything cute, you wax him. His nose looks so fucking weird. I wonder if that's his nose, or if he just has like a fucked up Owen Wilson nose from always getting beat up for looking like that. Anyways, here we are. Thanks for the escort, chummer. Here are the cruds for a run well done. I'll be sure to tell all my friends about your services. There's a chance he's a drug mule. There was no reason to go like, hey, psst, can you help me out? I need to go into that shanty town there. Really, man in suit? You need to go to the rundown shanty town. Totally on the level. The jump house is a typical bar, yeah. I swear to God, if they're ghouls, I'll do nothing because I can't fight you. And he knows it. He fucking knows it. I'm invincible, Joshua. I'm looking for some work. His fucking tablet is probably just filled up with ghoul contracts because nobody's going to take them in the Redmond Barrens. Nobody. Damn it. No wonder my brother died. It was ghoul runs or dangerous forest adventure. Go to the Coffin Motel. Walk down the road to Little Chiba. With a package. And another hot tip, because my playthrough is 10 years old. There's been a lot of hot tips over the years. Another hot tip is, if you hire a person part-time, they'll only leave when Mr. Johnson pays them. Fellas, please, I'm telling a story. They'll only leave when Mr. Johnson pays them. Mr. Johnson doesn't pay you on escorts and package deliveries. The recipient does. So you could hire a person short time, and just as long as you only take deliveries and escorts, they can't leave. Which we might take advantage of at some point. So here in the Redmond Barrens, as long as you never take a ghoul contract, the Shadowrunner never leaves because they never get their cut from Mr. Johnson. It's a terrible loophole. Stoker squints at you with his one good eye. Here's the package. Don't slot this up. We'll see. Speaking of slotting this up, the only way this is going to fall apart is if I run out of bullets. And I have, holy shit, I have a lot. You still have ammo left. Reload. Rock and roll, chummers. This is probably why people are always trying to beat up Josh. He's just alone in the street and reloading his little baby gun. Rock and roll, chummers. The salesman eyes light up when you hand him the package. Domo, chum. He tosses you a cred stick and rushes into the back with the bundle. My money's on black market liver. Or some sort of cyberware nose to help you snort the crack quicker. It's like a turbine for your nostrils. Gets it to your brain that much faster. I swear to fucking God, I know you will, but I swear to fucking God, Gunderson, I will be very upset. Oh, thank God. Go to little Chiba. Got a shipment of BTL chips about playing Shadowrun on the Super Nintendo. They're very hot. Take it to the Halloweeners. 40 million. Can't negotiate any higher than that. Fine. The problem is making fun of Gunderson. I always forget what the job is. Little Chiba to Hall. That's just across the street, too. The salesman hands you a bulky package. Please be careful with this. It's quite fragile. This is just a head in a jar. So here's the thing, is, jokes aside, a ghoul run serves no purpose in the Redmond Barrens. Maybe on a samurai. You can make a lot of money if you get a good rate. Like if you can negotiate up to $100 a head, that's 20 ghouls, 2,000. If you're good, you can clear 20 ghouls pretty fast. Problems with ghoul runs, though, is gargoyles don't count, and there's a chance that the trenchcoat man doesn't count the vampire. And lastly, the problem with the ghoul run is you can't leave when you're in combat. So if you're in over your head and like kill 2 ghouls, and there's a bunch more chasing you, you don't have a choice in the matter. You're still trapped in that building. And every Seattle dollar you do, or cred as they prefer to be called, matters at this point. So I don't want to die and drop them all. Entering an abandoned shack, you're accosted by a member of the Halloweeners gang. If you want to live, you better have a real good reason to be here. I have this head in a jar. He takes out a blade, slices it open, and peers inside. Satisfied, he pays you off. They're going to play soccer with that head later. How are we doing for karma? How are we doing for money? Money's coming in very slowly. 6 something for the gun, so probably want 700 to afford the Predator. And then we want enough karma to really pump up our computers. We should probably take some karma for our pistol skill or firearms in general, because remember, if you take firearms to 12, and then you can spend 1 extra point on the sub-skill pistol, SMG, or shotgun. So you can actually get your firearms to 13, which is probably overkill, honestly, because that's what, like, I actually don't know how much a 13 skill would cost in karma. I forget. I want to say it's double. $675 is cheap for the Predator Heavy Pistol. I think it's an oversight in the design. There's some problems with the gun design, most notably that you can buy, on paper, the best pistol in the Redmond Barrens. And then, there's problems, The best pistol costs $600, but the decker spends tens of thousands of dollars getting his deck up to speed. Magic also costs considerably more. And even with the clips, I think the weapons are very cheap in general. I'm looking for some work. Go to the Shyways nuke plant in the Redmond Barrens. There you'll meet my client, Neuromancer. Tell me more. And he needs to go to the Rat's Nest, which is across the street through the wall. 50 Nuyen. No negotiation there. By the way, buckle up, because this is going to be our fucking life for like an hour tonight. I think it's a good format to stream Shadowrun, because there's a lot of busy work with the just blind runs to grind karma. Hey, there you are. Boy, am I glad to see you. It's getting so a guy can't walk the streets alone. He's probably smuggling some nuclear material out of there. Hey, nuclear technician. You need an escort to the slum again. This is probably on the level. Although knowing Seattle, this is probably all he can fucking afford. Wow, aren't you the CEO of that important corporation? I sure am, but houses cost 10 billion credits, so I live in a cardboard box inside a smaller cardboard box. I have a landlord. The jump house is a typical small bar. Looking for some work. Go to the Rat's Nest. George Kish needs to go to the nuke plant. So we're just going backwards. Like his landlord needs to go into work now. I own several shanty towns in Rat's Nest, and I still need a full-time day job to pay my rent. I think the economy in Shadowrun is actually somewhat stable on account of the fact that I think a computer virus wiped out the economy in like 2020, and then a virus wiped out a huge chunk of the population and made monsters and trolls and shit. So that sort of stuff deals with inflation somewhat. So there might not be a housing bubble in Seattle. I'm not sure. Maybe for the poor, but I think if you're willing to work for a corporation, there's a decent middle class in the Shadowrun universe. Whoop. See, like for 2 pistols, I'm a pretty good shot. The quickness, I think the quickness is the huge thing. I want to say the shaman only has 3 quickness. Like, until I start fighting guys with guns, I'm pretty much untouchable. It was an AI that fucked up the internet. Now, was it the AI the dragon made? I can't remember if the dragons were around yet. I can't remember if the 5th Age started before the AI wiped out the economy. There's a community of ghouls, and there's going to stay a community of ghouls. Fuck you. Not even for $25 reduce, Joshua? No, not for $100. For $100 with a full party, I would still be skittish of a ghoul run. Go to Little Chiba and meet my client, Mike Nana. Escort him to the Rat's Nest. Yes. Hope you re-upload the live stream so I can finish watching it tomorrow. The live stream does persist somewhere on my channel. I'm not sure where. And then I do re-upload it later, so it will be around for you. Don't you worry. Hey, there you are. Boy, am I glad to see you. It's getting so a guy can't walk the streets alone. Do I need to take him to the Rat's Nest? I think it's someone else that lives in that cardboard box apartment building they all share. Just had to sell my liver. Rent went up. Oh boy. A haggard man collapses at your feet. His skin is pale and cold to the touch. A well-dressed man runs up, followed by 2 ordinary thugs as opposed to dire thugs. I'm a doctor and this patient has escaped. Help us capture him and I'll pay you. Tell me more. The man looks like a typical doctor to you. All doctors in the future wear large-brimmed hats and trench coats. I better help him. You grab the man and hold him while the henchmen straitjacket him and drag him off. Here's 50 Nuyen, now get lost. Now, on paper, you're like, did I do the right thing? I don't know about that guy, but from what I know about American healthcare, that was probably 100% on the level. Looks like an ordinary doctor. This is very curt. Money changes hands that shouldn't. Probably just his landlord beating him up. Missed his rent for the month in the cardboard box. He's short 2 million. Thanks, not. There's a community of ghouls. It's just the one for, excuse me, 10 million, and then after negotiations 10 million. Oh my god, I feel like this bar is a door, like a jewelry shop, and Gunderson just locks it on me, and that's his definition of negotiations over the payment. I'm just rattling the cage. Let me out, Gunderson. What if for 10 million you'd take the contract? You originally offered 10 million. What do you say, friend? Go fuck yourself. Hey, Gunderson, it's me. Go to the Shy Waste nuke plant and then deliver to the Halloweeners. Just radioactive crack. That gives it that extra oomph. The Decker isn't very convincing. What are we at? 2. And I'm not sure I want to spend more. I think I touched on it earlier. It's like we probably want negotiation to account for the giant price jumps in software, but I think we can probably skip it until we really start decking. So like we need negotiation, but I also don't want to spend money on negotiation. Entering an abandoned shack, you're accosted by a member of the Halloweener gang. If you want to live, you better have a real good reason to be here. I am so concerned for that man, because he's either very old or he is very like, if you're bald with liver spots like in your 20s, that's, well, I guess he does live near the nuke plant, but tell me more. He takes it. He takes the radioactive hypercrack. As you walk by, a man calls to you from a dark alleyway. I got 6 frag grenades for sale. I'll give them to you for 180 million. That's 30 million a pop. What do you say, chummer? I say that's a bad deal. I say that's a bad deal. The first Matrix crash was apparently in 2029. You know what? I really like the Shadowrun universe because even though it was like this weird 1980s cyberpunk, it's sort of a believable like pseudo-apocalypse they have with like the viruses and the Matrix crashing. Blade Runner, I suppose, is kind of similar. It's like a what-if 80s cyberpunk, but it still kind of holds up for the most part. Well, I mean, of course, like I think 5th edition Shadowrun, they really started to retcon it with like wireless Matrix networks and shit, but I think like 1st and 2nd edition, even in 2020, are like kind of plausible. And it is a shame that Harebrained Schemes kind of let go of Shadowrun, but I have a feeling that even though it was not that much work for them to make Hong Kong, because they already had the engine, but they were probably getting screwed on licensing fees. Because I know that I would only want to pay so much for a Shadowrun campaign if they're just using the exact same engine. So even if they were turning around like a module a year, you know, like don't make a deal with a dragon, they managed to pull that off in 8 months and sell that. It's like I wouldn't want to pay more than $20 for that. And I mean, it's hard to keep a development team running on a $20 game year after year. So I'm not surprised they moved on to BattleTech, but they're probably getting screwed by licensing fees on BattleTech in the same way. All they've done is a couple DLCs for it. I'm not sure what Harebrained Schemes is doing right now. Anyways, I'm looking for work. Don't say ghouls. Little Chiba, take that to the Jackal's Lantern. That's the bar next to our bar. It's a bar right next door to another bar. The Redmond Barrens is actually doing okay. As soon as it's a wedding shop next to a jewelry store next to a head shop, that's how you know it's a bad part of town. Some medical grade moonshine to deliver to the Jackal's Lantern. It's weird that the Halloweeners have their own bar, but it's not near their headquarters. Like, they might as well just make their headquarters a bar, which I think is actually, if you go there for, I forget what kind of job it's called, like an extortion job or something, or an enforcement job, but you go to their headquarters and fight a bunch of them, then you fight on a bar map. So it's weird that they have their own bar as well. They did have otaku in the older versions? Huh. When did they introduce different races and such? What was it? I think it was like a virus around 2012 that just elves started being born and like 1 in 4 people spontaneously transformed into a what was it, a dwarf? And then I think orcs had to be born, or were orcs also transformed? Orcs or trolls were spontaneously transformed by the virus, and then trolls and elves started being born, I think. The 5th age? Or is it the 4th age? I forget what age it is. The last age was like Aztec times, and there was just no magic since then. It's an interesting universe. I think there's also, well, I think there is a pen and paper game like in the previous age where it's just Shadowrun but high fantasy, and you're like back in the Aztec days. TTA, did you ever attempt to play the tabletop? I've read the rulebook. I think I read the 4th or 5th edition rulebook. Seems really fun, but no, I haven't gotten into it yet. I'd like to. Earth Dawn. Yeah, I'm thinking of Earth Dawn. Community of Ghouls. Wow, an extra $15. So yeah, I mean, if you could go in there and kill 2 ghouls, clean, and then walk out, that's about as much as a good escort. But then you have to hope that more ghouls don't spawn and block you. There's no gargoyles or vampires, which don't count. Go to the Rat's Nest and take it to the Stalker's Coffin Motel. I feel they'd do better with just like some pneumatic tubes to deliver their cocaine, because these are small distances. And then, because we have to drop it off at the hotel, we'll go into the hotel and we'll pump up our karma. Probably all computer. Whoops. Rat's Nest, not the Halloweeners. Yeah, get away from my headquarters. Man, fuck you, alright? I'm just trying to deliver this cocaine. I extra need to go to the hotel because I'm about to black out. Come on, quickness 5 to let me down now. Holy shit. And then this is an interesting quirk. It's something I've kind of picked up on from watching speedruns in a lot of games. I think it was Final Fantasy IX, maybe. Was it? It was a game I was watching a speedrun. The guy was pointing out that the way it calculates your move speed, it was Dark Cloud. It was Dark Cloud now that I remember. The way it calculates your move speed, like it interpolates it, is you move faster to diagonal, and I think that's also true in Shadowrun, so I kind of try to stick to my diagonals when I fight. A medkit, that's 100 million. Lone Star Grunt. Here's some excess evidence I'm selling, and you know, in reality, we found out that's not too far from the mark with some policemen. Do you have the package breeder, or have you lost it? He grabs the package from you, checks it, and begrudgingly pays for your service. I think dwarves are sterile. Yeah, we do need to sleep. Oh, fuck it. Let's hope that some dregs don't jump out from the shadows. The battered sign reads Stoker's Coffin Motel. Motels like these are cheap, each room only large enough to fit a small bed. Dumps like these tend to attract the dregs of humanity. Tell me more. The manager yawns. I won't bore you with the welcome speech. I'm actually yawning because it's late. So what do you want? Just looking for a place to crash. I got a room for 20 million up front. You interested? Easy money, chummer. I'll pay. Hope you brought your own towels. I've been cleaned out this month. Enjoy your stay. Now, I was not a well-traveled child. And I actually played the Sega Genesis Shadowrun after the Super Nintendo Shadowrun. And there is a hotel in the Super Nintendo Shadowrun. I think it's next door to that bar where you get the ice delivered. And anyways, that's supposed to be a coffin motel. But due to the graphical limitations of the game, it's just a hotel. And the room is just the size of the bed. And I found out later that a coffin motel is like a capsule motel, like those Japanese ones where it's like the tube and you climb in and they're stacked on top of each other. And that's probably what these are. But just that was a fun fact, because until I learned about those capsule motels in Japan, I always thought a coffin motel was just like a freakishly small room, which doesn't really make any sense, because you'd be hard pressed to like segregate your building so that like doors are that close together. It'd be pretty much like door and then the jam and then another fucking door. Anyways, a steaming mug of soy camp will be just whizzable now. And I've recovered all my blue health, as you can see. 11 karma. Yeah, let's get that computer up, which doesn't help us whatsoever in the Redmond Barrens. Breeder reads as fucker. You know, now that you say it, that makes sense, but they also have like their made up like Battlestar Galactica swears. They don't have a problem whatsoever using like slut off frag face. So I would assume that if Stoker was that angry, he'd just go right for the jugular with that. It's like, I want to tie you up to the radiator and frag you in the mouth. But he just called me a breeder. Anyways, look at this. Upgrade to 4 cost 8. So I think it's double the skill level we're going up to. So all that work, we've been playing for almost an hour, and we got enough to upgrade our computer once. Increases success in combat and the operation of nodes. So we need strong programs, but then we also need strong computer to not fuck up like using deception. But deception itself needs to be a respectable level. I think it only needs to be a respectable level compared to the node we're attacking, which I suppose we can philosophize about more once we start hacking. I'm going to put 1 point in computer. I'm going to put 1 point in computer. So we need another 6 runs. And then we can get computers to 5. I think computers 5 should be enough to at least dabble in the world of the Matrix. We have a spare medkit. Let's see if we can afford that Predator yet. Oh, wow. Yep, I fucking zoned out rambling. That's why the stream format is ideal for a game like Shadowrun. Because we can all just reminisce about my last Let's Play while I fucking grind out 80 karma in the Redmond Barrens. Predator heavy pistol. And then we sell our old pistol. It just got some blood on it. Just Halloweener stuff. Ah, fuck. It sells for 150. I never thought of that. We could have got this pistol a while back. Let's get some clips. 2, 3, 4. That'll last a while. Some elves can be immortal. You might be right. I think Harlequin's one of the like weird immortal ones that has been around since the previous age. But yeah, I think a bunch were just born. Just started being born around then. And then they broke off and formed their enclaves. Okay, so it's dwarves. It's elves and dwarves. Elves and dwarves started being born, and then orcs and trolls spontaneously transformed when they had the virus, then, if I remember. It's been like, I want to say like 4 years since I skimmed the 5th edition rulebook. Didn't really give it a strong read, but it's a cool universe. How are we doing for armor? You could buy the armor jacket. The armor jacket will last you a long fucking time. Ribbed, padded, and woven for your protection. And her pleasure. Fair weapon protection, great gun protection. Now, weapons are considered your fists. Maybe everything else. I don't think like a Hellhound Breath is considered a weapon. I think that's considered magical. But guns are guns, weapons are getting punched. Equipment. I mean, I could accessorize my Predator heavy pistol, but I don't see the need. Just got my handshake out like we're about to bid on something in Theme Park. If you're not familiar with that, when you're near the end of a campaign mission in Theme Park, is there's a mini game where you both extend your hand to shake hands, and you want the hand as close to your side of the screen as possible to save money. It's fucking so stupid. Equip. So I was reading some speculation because like the code is so weird and it's janky interpretations of the 2nd edition rules in this game that someone speculated with some decent accuracy, I think, that power is the chance to go through armor and then damage is the actual damage it does, because that's they're confusing names, right? It's like damage and power. It's like, what the fuck does that mean? I think I got them mixed up maybe, but one is for how easy it is to go through their armor. Actually, I think it's damage is the chance to go through their armor, because damage is the one that goes up. When you change your posture, which it won't, because I think my gun skill is too low. I think your gun skill impacts the power of your posture, but yeah, I think power, because power is the flat one. I don't know. We're all speculating, I think. One represents the ability to go through armor. One represents the actual damage you can do to a person. So you can have something like I don't even know. A Renraku strike team or like a Hellhound has good armor, so even if you have an amazing gun, damage-wise, if it can't penetrate the armor, you're kind of fucked. You know, it's like if in a pen and paper game, well, more like Dungeons and Dragons. I'm not really familiar with the combat rules in Shadowrun, but say in Dungeons and Dragons, like you had a weapon that did a lot of damage, but your actual hit chance was dog shit. So you can't leverage the power of your weapon. We're between runs because we just slept. And some soy calf. A spell to fuck up armor, you think? That was from Shadowrun Returns. The spell in this Shadowrun is just armor up on yourself. But yeah, Shadowrun Returns had some spells that shredded armor. Which were kind of, well, I don't know if they were mandatory, but I definitely used them a lot on my playthroughs. Want to go to Shadowrun, eh? Go to see the Halloweeners and take their cocaine to the Rat's Nest. So they can freebase it. I need to reload. I've definitely heard some good songs on the Sega Genesis, and yeah, Snot's right. Like, Japanese developers really push the sound card to its limit sometimes. But then, yeah, it's like, this is just... I don't even remember the credits for this game. It doesn't even sound like they had a dude on. Like, definitely didn't have Tommy Tallarico fucking pounding out the hits on this one. Just some guy plugged a keyboard into his shitty Windows 3.1 computer with the wrong adapter, so it didn't even sound right. He just plays these shitty 30-second loops. A well-dressed elf enters behind you. Do you have my package? You hand him the package and he gives you the payment. My employer thanks you. It's hard to buy into the narrative that elves were beautiful and successful when all the elves you meet in Shadowrun on the Genesis live in slums and they wear shitty leather jackets. What's the goal with this run, TTA? We're just playing it for the most part. I'm a decker. Yeah, I'd like to do some decking. We'll try to use some unorthodox characters. Well, not really. I'm leaning towards Walking Bear as our caster, and then I really want to make Winston Mars into just a melee character, because I've read about it. There's a way to do it, supposedly, where you give him cyberware in a certain combination, you get his melee combat up there high enough that if you give him spurs, he will one-shot most things, because like we were talking before about the penetration, is once his strength is so high from the cyberware, is he'll just shred through everybody's armor with his spurs. And this causes a problem where there's a bug in this Shadowrun. If you have a certain combination of cyberware, which is the proper way to be good at melee, and then you melee, you'll die in one hit. But thank God somebody figured out what was causing it, and they cobbled together a Game Genie code that stops that from happening, which I have running, I think. So that bug shouldn't happen to us. But like I said earlier, on my last Let's Play, I was trying to make that Winston Mars melee build, and it was fucking super expensive. It wasn't going that well. So it might not be a good idea. But with me as a decker with the Predator and then Walking Bear as our caster, I think it might be okay. The final boss would probably be the hardest part. Anyways, I'm looking for some work. Go to the motel. Mike Nana needs to get walked down the street to the bar because he's so fucking drunk he doesn't know how to get here. As long as he doesn't stop drinking, he can't have a hangover. Oh Christ, it's the grenade math teacher. See ya, man. It's also tempting to use a grenade character, but I actually briefly made a character. I suppose the problem is because this is kind of a pen and paper game. I briefly made a character and I wanted to go all grenades. So I bought some grenades and I tried throwing them and they were fucking garbage. But I forgot that not just your success chance, but I think your damage goes up a little bit with your skill. So the fact that I had no skill in throwing on a samurai meant that the grenades didn't hit very hard. And I mean, this is a pretty flat game design-wise, so it's not like there's a secret nobody bothered to get 13 throwing in the 20 years since this game came out, and it's amazing. No, it's always shit. It's just, it's fun to do something unorthodox and be rewarded, but Shadowrun is not a game that does that. The chat's moving so fast, I'm having trouble replying to some people, so I'm sorry if you said something and I missed it. But this place is more crowded than my first ghoul run. Mars is the troll fella. He's the troll where his clothes don't fit. Starts with a shotgun, but because he's a troll, you give him cyberware in a way that you get him to 12 strength, 12 quickness, and then he's just machine gun punching people for incredible damage. So then it's just a matter of his melee combat being high enough to land the hit. And then because you're grinding money and karma for your computer skills, well, we have to hire Winston for that. Because you're grinding karma on Joshua, Winston's also getting a lot of karma for melee, because his melee's not that great. And melee's, because it's not that great, it's really low and you got to rise it up quite a bit. But yeah, I tried it very briefly in a Let's Play, and it mostly started to fall apart when I tried to go hack something for some money, and I died because my deck was garbage and my computer skill was too low. And then Winston, he fucked off because I was dead. And fun fact is, if you do that little trick where you hire someone briefly and exploit the contract loophole and they die, their fucking rate goes through the roof. He went from 3,000 Nuyen to 5,000 Nuyen for a full-time contract. And let me tell you, I did not have 5,000 Nuyen yet. I was not a decker. Go to the Shy Away Snook plant, and John Worley needs to go to the Halloweeners just across the street. I am loving these just across the street escorts. They're my bread and butter. It's like Uber with a gun. Surge pricing. Yeah, that's right. I'm the Predator. Actually, I hope these gangsters are over 18. I don't want the fucking police showing up. Did you just say you're a predator? No, it was a gunfight. It's not a sex thing, even though they got fucked. Oh, shit, you're arresting me. Med pack for that burn. I'm sorry, 141 viewers on the Twitch stream. That's not reflected in my chat client. Interesting. Huh. Oh, more problems with the American healthcare system. Help us capture him and I'll pay you. Tell me more. It looks like a doctor. They explain that they work for an insane asylum and that this is one of their patients. After showing the proper credentials, they give you 50 million for your help. Take their patient and leave. Now, I don't know what the proper credentials are. Like, crazy man doctor police? Or he actually has his framed diploma with him that he just pulls out of his jacket. Don't trust me? Take a look at this. It's definitely in the frame. This seems on the level. Wow, Phoenix University. Honestly, like I said earlier, the guy that is curt and gives you $50 to piss off, that sounds more like a real doctor. Yeah, this guy's got ghosts in his blood. We gotta take him back. Here's 50 million. Fuck off. Looking for work? Go to the Jackal's Lantern. Ellis Goodson. He needs to go to the jump house. Gunderson, I'm about to get kicked out. I need someone to walk me over there. All right, I'll send someone over right away. God damn it. Could you imagine Gunderson's LinkedIn profile? Just fucking always alluding to ghoul contracts. Let me know if you need to fight ghouls. Go to the jump house, and then he needs to go to the rat's nest. Now that this man's done drinking, he can go back to his cardboard box mansion. What makes it a mansion? There's a wall around the bathroom. It's not in the living room. It's not a Russian bachelorette. And that's a kind of hotel where the bathroom's in the living room for some fucking reason. Because Stalin was a madman. Go to the weapon shop, Ellis Goodson. He needs to be escorted to the rat's nest. 65 million, absolutely. I went to the wrong one. Make sure I don't press the wrong button and accidentally buy it. Hey there. Make sure we don't accidentally buy the stuff from Michael, even though we're not really in any danger health-wise. Thanks for the escort, chummer. Are the Redmond Barrens safe to live in, TTA? There's parts of the Redmond Barrens that are safe to live in. I think Shadowrun Returns touched on that. There's like passable parts of the Barrens, and like Redmond's just a shit town compared to Seattle in 2050. But there are parts of Redmond that are just absolute fucking trash. But this isn't one of them. Like, there's a prison and a nuclear plant. The gang's there. It's not the safest part of the greater Seattle area to live in, but it's not like, the fucking bombed out Mad Max part of town where it's nothing but ghouls and gangs. Definitely not as nice as downtown Seattle, though. Oh, community of ghouls. For 15 million, man. You're gonna fucking turn into a popcorn chicken if you keep eating that shit. Brain's gonna rot away and you think that's a bargain. Go to Little Chiba. Bring it to the jump house. Probably just his diabetes medicine. B-Dub, what makes you come back to the Genesis game? Today's the 10-year anniversary of my Genesis playthrough. And it lined up perfectly that we were done Resident Evil. Well, I mean, secretly, it's the reason we didn't do a Chris playthrough in Resident Evil. So this would line up. We're not supposed to be here. Was Shadowrun Returns in Redmond? It was. You went to different places, but you start in the Redmond Barrens. That's where the bar was. So the bar was in the passable part of Redmond Barrens. Had an interesting snippet about like how tourists would go there and pretend to be slumming. But then there were trashy parts of Redmond Barrens. I think this part's not quite as nice as the part in Shadowrun Returns, but it's not a bad part. There's a sudden disturbance up ahead. A sudden disturbance up ahead in Redmond Barrens. We haven't leveled up our reputation. You glimpse someone taking your picture with a holocam. The person quickly disappears into the crowd. This guy walks by and sees me. Wow, what a fucking amazing Decker cosplay. Because in the future, the cameras make a distinct noise because elven women were upset that people were secretly taking pictures of them. They're quite beautiful. So all holo cams make a loud shutter sound. The bartender drops a rag and waves you over. That's for me. Here's your nuyen. Don't spend it all in one place. And then he just takes the diabetes medicine. It looks like a bottle of Tabasco, and he plasters it over some popcorn chicken before he walks it over to Gunderson. How he got his diabetes medicine in liquid form, I don't know, but here we are. Go to the nuke plant, and Heinrich Michaels needs to go to Little Chiba. Probably his radiation poisoning. I hope you get the treatment you need. Maybe they can fix up that nose for you. Because, I mean, they can, like, sew metal armor under your skin, give you wired reflexes, put fucking knives in your hand. I'm pretty sure a nose job is, like, fucking, that's a coupon to get your teeth cleaned, too. 100 nuyen. The rat's nest of the jump house. One thing I'll say is that there's a Shadowrun Returns mod that plays like this. What was it? Shadowrun Unlimited? There's a Shadowrun Returns mod that plays like Genesis Shadowrun. And it was pretty decently made, but actually, if you can handle the graphics, this just plays a little quicker mechanically. It's like you walk quicker, talk to the people faster. And I mean, there's the nostalgia of playing it. So I actually honestly prefer the Genesis version to any mods that try to recreate it. Although it's always fun to try and recreate it. I need to go from the rat's nest to the jump house. I was actually on my way already. Fellas, I'm on the job. Look at that, just pow, pow. Pow, pow, power wheels. That's for me. Here's your nuyen. Don't spend it all in one place. I actually will. I'm going to spend it on the armor jacket, I believe. Super Nintendo Shadowrun definitely has a better story, and I like the adventure mode approach to it. Only weird thing is it kind of plays like a PC game. It was one of those weird games. There was a couple of weird games on the Super Nintendo that played like a PC. Utopia was another one. I want to say Syndicate was on the Super Nintendo and it also played like the PC version. Those are just always weird, those games that just have like a mouse cursor, but it's on a controller. It's really fucking weird. I remember Utopia especially, which is like a weird sci-fi city builder. And I got it on PC, and I was like, what a weird game. Always stands out to me just because it was so weird for a console game at the time. I almost have enough, and I will have enough if I sell my current body armor, the armor clothing. Fashionable body armor. For LARPing is a Decker. Low weapon protection, poor gun protection. So we're going to go from low and poor to fair and great. That's a big upgrade. Yeah, the Super Nintendo Shadowrun, I don't think it's based precisely, but I think it's loosely based on the novel, like Don't Make a Deal with the Dragon or whatever it was called. Whoop. I mean, we have an increased defense, but let's not fucking get hit on purpose. Actually, good time to have that armor, because probably the most dangerous enemy in Red and Barrens, if you can outrun these guys, the most dangerous enemy is the gun guy, because you're not used to actually taking health damage. It's all mental damage from the unarmed attacks. And the thing is, the gun guy actually has more armor than the melee guys, too. So he's a bit of a triple threat. Just to count all the threats. He has the gun, he has high armor, and he has a beautiful singing voice. The prison, Ellis Goodson needs to go a little Chiba. Probably got shivved. And then zoned out a little bit. Might have some karma built up for another point in computers. Let's check. 14, I think that's enough. Some Soycaf would-be whiz. Let me in. Be just whiz about now. 5 computer. You know what? Let's just make it an even 6, which actually isn't even. It's the max is 12, so half of the max will be a good starting point when we get our first deck. And then, sorry, what do we have here? Combat and cyber combat success would cost me 5. This is just combat success. This doesn't help us in the Matrix. This helps us in the Matrix. Body, body doesn't help us in the Matrix unless we're fighting Black Ice. So we can keep this kind of low and depend on our other Shadowrunners to protect us. Not in the Matrix. This, it decreases the cost of Shadowrunners and helps us on random events, but we can just prepare for the worst outcome. Charisma is good for bluffing your way past corporate security checks, I believe. And then things like, if you try to shoot the doctor and the police come, but whatever. Sorry, what's this message I missed? What's the deal with those trench coat guys? Ones you fight in the street are mages, but I think ones you fight in the ghoul ruins are vampires, someone told me on a comment. Which would make sense that they melee you. I don't know a lot about vampires in the Shadowrun universe. My only experience are those trenchcoat guys, and then the one from the Super Nintendo Shadowrun who also tried to bite you. But I would imagine if you were a vampire in the world of Shadowrun, possibly from the Third Age, Earth Dawn, you would have the foresight to just use a fucking gun and then like suck the blood out of their corpse or something and not fucking walk around like a 1920s Nosferatu and try to bite people. So I think I want to max out my quickness, which was 6. That'll just be great because that'll give us a little bit more speed. And then actually, no. It's either an oversight or if it's on purpose. But the trick is to get your cyberware before it maxes out, and then you can go over the max. So we actually don't want to max out our stats until we're cybered up. So we'll leave these. So let's just focus on computer. We'll get one more. 6 will give us 3 in firearms. So let's do that. So 2 more runs, because it's always 1 karma run with Redmond Barons. That's why I love to level up here. Do you fucking mind when I'm talking? Yoink. Should have used that on yourself then, Hotshot. He's vanished. I'm sure he's dead. How cybered am I thinking? Probably incredibly cybered, because if you're going to bother to deck, everything else in the game is cheap by comparison. Cyberware and spells and guns are nothing if you're starting to spend like 30,000 million on a program. I think body armor's 30,000, and then like that's top of the line armor, and then programs can be more than that. We need to go from the prison to the Jackal's Lantern. The Jackal's Lantern. Another interesting ROM hack is, I don't think it was Shadowrun 2058. I think it was one of the standalones, but there's one that lets you change Joshua's race. Because with this rather like simplistic adaptation of the rules is just you want, like there's a best race for every job. So it's like, you know, like Troll Samurai is probably the best. I think Dwarves are the best deckers or mages. I've already forgotten, but there is like you'll get a huge leg up on a human if you know what class you want to be. A little cheaper to the greenhouse. Hey, Matt. He grins devilishly when he sees the crack. Now I can do some serious fixin'. He pays and escorts you to the greenhouse. His hands twitch. He was very sweaty. Probably just hot because he's in a greenhouse. Right? That's what it is? Everything's on the level? From the hotel to Little Chiba, 35 new yen. Maybe I should work on that negotiation. I've already forgotten what I was doing. Hotel to Little Chiba. Okay. That's such a weird pattern they have for the road in Redmond Barrens. Like, I don't know if this is supposed to be, like, very damaged asphalt or if it's supposed to be cobbled. Like, what do the roads look like in Redmond? I think the joke is that Redmond's actually very nice right now. I think it's the headquarters of Microsoft. And then as a joke, it was a shithole dump in the future, probably just because they were the most familiar with Redmond Barrens, the guys that wrote the Shadowrun rule set so they could make a very accurate map. But I don't know. I don't know what's up with that road. We needed 10 for pistols. We have 7. Well, 10 for firearms. We don't go pistols until it's the 13. Little Chiba, George Kish needs to go to the hotel, so he's just going backwards. My Decker or Gator Shaman? We're Decker right now. Just because, I don't know. A lot of people comment on the fact that I should have been a decker. Oh my god. And also, like, human's not the ideal shaman. Like, I think the elf Freya or the troll walking bear are the better wizards statistically. And considering how little casting you do early game compared to other things, like, you can kind of deck early on, you can kind of fight as a samurai early on, but you really can't cast spells early on as a shaman. You don't have a reliable way to complete jobs because you're shit in combat and your spells aren't very strong. Oh, sorry, we're not grabbing a drink, sir. I just need to drop you off. I don't know if trolls are literally the best shaman, but I think their skills are a little bit better than you'd think because intelligence isn't that great. It's willpower. And trolls don't have very bad willpower, but they also have very high body. Body's just great because, you know, you don't fucking die. Or maybe it was dwarves and there's no dwarf mages? Someone's like the odd duck is better than you'd think as a spellcaster in this version of Shadowrun. Go to the Halloweeners. Mike and Nana needs to go to the jump house. I can't recall, Thaco. I can't recall if this game takes... I think this game takes place in 2nd edition because the box art was literally, I think, the 2nd edition rulebook art. When the people are, like, hacking the vid phone that looks like a fucking arcade machine, that art totally sucked me in as a kid. I was like, holy shit, is this what the game looks like? It does not, but years later, a YouTube empire was born. Fellas, please. Stay out of danger. I like that they never beat up the escort. They just beat you up. Thank God for that technical limitation of the game. Because they made this game kind of quick in the grand scheme of things. I think it was like an 18-month game. Because escorts are miserable. So thank God they don't hit him. Yeah, the willpower does make dwarves a great decker, and that's why my original Shadowrun playthrough went so well, because we hired that dwarf decker. The willpower makes him great at decking. Because you'd think that like elves would be great deckers because of their reflexes, but it's more like the constitution, I guess, to be plugged into a computer all fucking day, so dwarves are decent at it. $55 million. I am terrible at negotiating. Dwarves were also fun in the Xbox shooter because they could deactivate the troll's passive damage reduction. That was always fun. It was always fun to be a dwarf and run around and fuck with all the magic on the map. Rat's Nest to Little Chiba. And then, you know what, just to get Joshua in a good spot, we're probably just going to be doing Redmond Barons all night, to be honest with you. We're probably going to do Redmond Barons all night, and then right at the end, we'll go grab Michael's stuff and then advance the story a little bit there. Which won't actually be that money is the main problem. Is we'll be in a good spot karma-wise, but Gunderson is just garbage for money relative to time invested. And I don't actually know a good mid-game way to get money before decking, so we'll have to figure that out. Go to the Coffin Motel. Take it to the Rat's Nest. 90% of the economy of the Redmond Barons is the creation, transportation, and sale of crack cocaine. I saw the I don't know if I saw the promo, but I saw the commercial for the Super Nintendo one. That was something else. $11. I think I can afford Pistols 3. Yeah, selling info from the data stores. Yeah, that's like our mid game trick, and then you can exploit that by knowing a little bit more about the matrix and color nodes and how data is distributed. But we have to get to that point. We have to get our not just our computer skill, but our cyberdeck programs up to the point where we can reliably hack. Well, to be fair, with tar pits removed, really the only threat to decking is time wasted when we die. Well, not die. Actually, I don't think anything ever blocked you from jacking out. So the worst that would happen is if you jacked out with black ice, you'd hurt yourself a little bit. And then as long as you have someone watching you with a med kit, you're never really in danger when you deck. So it's just a matter of losing time, which is Now that we've removed tar pits from the equation, decking is just it's time lost basically. Which is less annoying in this stream format, obviously, because it's really frustrating that, I would post in today's 20-minute video, I try to desperately kill this CPU and then die at the end anyways. But you've made the mistake of watching a 3-hour-long stream. I can waste as much time as I want. There's a community of ghouls. Speaking of wasting fucking time, Gunderson. The prison. Ellis Goodson needs to go to the jump house. Wants a drink after work. Or he just got out of prison. The first thing he wants to do is smoke crack. Who am I kidding? You can get crack in prison. He just wants to drink something that isn't bathtub moonshine. Sorry, what's this? You think you'd ever play some SNES Saga games? Oh, sorry, Saga games. Someone has requested the Saga games. They actually requested Romancing Saga 3, but just due to the quality of life, I'd prefer to play the other Romancing Sagas. My problem is the very first Romancing Saga is pretty fucking rough. I'd rather play Minstrel Song. And then I'd probably play the PC version. Fellas, please, I'm talking about Saga. He's talking about another franchise. Fucking rush him. I'd rather get the Romancing Saga 2 and 3 ports on Steam. But I don't hate Saga. They're just like, they're big time sinks, and it's like the systems are very convoluted. But I mean, I did make it through Saga Frontier, which is probably one of the easier ones, honestly, because of the junk shop trick. I have Minstrel Song on my PS2, and it is fucking, man. It is just so many convoluted systems in those Saga games. It's like the Tim and Eric of JRPGs. They're just high out of their fucking mind when they think this shit up. But yes, the Saga games have been requested. The Weapon Shop, Chris Stout, the physical manifestation of a beer, he needs to go to the nuke plant. Man, could you imagine if you were a dwarf and your parents named you Chris Stout? That'd be a little frustrating. What's your name? Short Big Wide? That's weird. It's a weird name to have. Oh god, more Halloween. I'm not even afraid of them is the thing, unless I run out of ammo. I guess that's the one upside to being a shaman, is you're never truly in danger. You can pull off a mana zap every now and then when you run out of ammo. How are you doing for ammo? 3's pretty good. We have 3 medkits too. Always sell the medkits in this early part. 100 million. Have I ever heard of Loop Hero? I haven't. I have not. Unless it's a roguelite, and I'm not really a roguelite kind of guy, although I would like to go back to Darkest Dungeon one day. I try not to take on too many roguelites because they're frustrating. I don't like to play a game where nothing happens and then we lose time. Because if you actually watch some of my earlier games, Shadowrun's a great example, is you don't lose a lot of progress. You mostly just lose money when you die. So you keep your karma, you keep your story progress, and you don't have to load your game. I mean, what is it, 5 or 10% of your money when you die? It's a very, very forgivable sum of money when you die in Shadowrun. Earthbound, you lose some of your money. Terranigma, you lose some of your money. But you don't really lose any progress in the story, so that's, of course, changed over the years. I'll play games where I lose progress, but roguelites just seem to be the epitome of that. Is it's like you're just going through the motions. It's like the worst part of Dark Souls is like running to the boss, and you're like, well, I don't give a shit about this part. Community of Ghouls, I don't give a shit about this part, Gunderson. Go see the Halloweeners. Doc Whitson. He wants to go to prison. Oh. It turns out I'm a pedophile. Can you please take me to prison? For 60 million, you got it, bub. Even in the future, they don't like pedophiles. I had a feeling a game called Loop Hero would be a roguelite. There's okay roguelites. You have to have good progression. Not something like Rogue Legacy where you're not really making progress in any given run. I think maybe Hades is a decent one now. There's good roguelites. There's roguelites I don't mind, but there's also shitty ones where it's just, you're going through the motions and then everything falls apart at the last possible moment. Your time's wasted with no progression. Halloweeners, which we grabbed, he needs to... Oh, right, because he was the pedophile going to prison. And as for Final Fantasy Legend, that's a Game Boy game. I had a Game Boy. I barely played it. I played Pokemon. That was pretty much the only game I played. I played Pokemon and Kirby's Dream Land on my Game Boy. And just... Shouldn't I be escorting you to prison? Where's the guy I'm escorting? I don't know. Playing a Game Boy in this day and age... especially for YouTube, I'm not sure how I would do it. Just it looks so bland. I mean, I don't mind Game Boy Advance games. You saw me play Mega Man Battle Network, but yeah, those the OG Game Boy. Wowie. There's also like the nostalgia's not there for me. Like Link's Awakening, I never played when I was a kid, so I think it'd be really hard to get into it now. Probably very dated. There's that new one. They like made an almost one-for-one version on the Switch, I think, that just looks nice. That might be okay. Whoops, I'm under contract and I'm not canceling, and I keep forgetting what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, current run. The Halloweeners, which we haven't done yet. He needs to go to the prison. Where the fuck did I try them? The Rat's Nest? How many streams did I do of Darkest Dungeon? I think I did 2 or 3, and it was a long time ago. Was it back before I was able to set up my microphone to like discard the noise from my air conditioner? So I would have to turn my air conditioner off to stream or turn it on. So either I was incredibly fucking uncomfortably hot, which showed in the commentary, like Xenogears, or you could just hear a fan in the background, which is why I had to end up getting rid of Darkest Dungeon, Parasite Eve, Mega Man Legends. There was a lot of games from back then that just... The quality's not necessarily amazing, and like I don't fucking go to bed thinking I'm hot shit every night, but I try to put in some effort on the quality of my videos, and some videos I just didn't like. So I have to revisit those games. Final Fantasy Tactics is another one. I have to revisit that stream one day. Did not like the way that quality turned out. What's this? Would I ever play Mad Max Fury Road? I'm not really into open world games because they're so long. Oh shit, sorry, you're not a gang member. He's probably going to be a gang member now. I probably just fucking radicalized him. Just walking through, this fucking guy shot me in the tum-tum. Well, for starters, you're not going to get drafted into the Halloweeners if you call it your tum-tum. They're probably just going to beat the shit out of you and take your money. But second of all, I thought you were a gang member. Going back to Mad Max Fury Road, I normally don't play open world games because they just go on forever and they're all the same. The Mad Max one did seem neat though, most because you eat dog food. Thought that was cool. If I ever do some open world games, I'll probably honestly just stick to Rockstar stuff because regardless of the problems they have with like overworking their employees and thinking that Grand Theft Auto should be full price for 5 fucking years, which is nonsense, is they make decent games. I liked Red Dead Redemption and Bully. Guy wants to explain to me why he's got a bargain. If you have to explain why it's a bargain, you're a dog shit salesman. Product should speak for itself. Oh god, this must be how famous people feel. I can't keep up with this chat. How do I feel about Castlevania? I never played it. I didn't have a Nintendo when I was a child. I had a Sega Genesis, so I played a lot of Shadowrun. Didn't play a lot of anything else. And I'm not really good at platformers. What was a platformer I played as a child? I had Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which I never actually beat. I always died on Flying Fortress. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And I had a couple platformers on my Super Nintendo I wasn't very good at, like Cybernator. But specifically Castlevania, I never played as a child. I think I read it once and got the shit kicked out of me. Even though there was a Sega Genesis Shadowrun, it was never in my town. I never saw it at the store. I'd like to do Symphony of the Night one day, because that's more of like a Metroidvania. I don't think I could play the old-timey Castlevanias. The only Castlevania I played semi-seriously was, they made a free-to-play one on the PlayStation 3, and I played that for a little bit. I think I played Charlotte. And she had that mechanic where like you would kill enemies and there's a chance she'd like absorb their soul to become stronger. But the super classics, like yeah, Bloodlines, Castlevania X, Castlevania 4, Castlevania 2, I never played those when they were new, and I'm dog shit at them. If you remember last year, I did Metal Gear Solid stream, and I was filling up my memory card so that Psycho Mantis would say stuff about it. And one of the games you'd load the file for was Castlevania, so I had to play that arcade Castlevania 1 on my PlayStation 1 to load it on the memory card. And I got the fucking shit kicked out of me. I couldn't beat the second level, where you like you're down in the cave and you jump on the platform and it starts rising. You have to like dodge these rocks. You get fucking knocked off. Oh my god, I'm not good at platformers. And then heaven forbid it's one of those non-linear platformers. I hated those the most. Because they were always like weird licensed games. Like, did you ever play The Mask? Did you ever play The Mask on Super Nintendo? That's a non-linear platformer. Those things are just the work of Satan. Just bounce around this level, you know, start in the bottom right and go to the upper left. Not necessarily a fucking straight line. Papers, Please. I didn't hate Papers, Please was... it was an interesting time in my this hobby, because that was around the time like this Let's Play thing is sort of like taken up so much of my personal time. Like whenever I have time to play a game, it's either I'm recording it or I wish I'm recording it. And back then, like sometimes I'd have a game on the side, like, yeah, I'll probably not play this one on YouTube. But then after that, I was like, pretty much every time there's a game, I was like, I might as well just post this one on YouTube. And I bought Papers, Please the day it came out. It was around my birthday. I was like, let's go for it. And it was a fun game. It was playing it blind. It was a terrible format for a Let's Play because it was like, just like I said earlier, it's like you could die for the day and you'd gain no progress. And it was also kind of hard to narrate a day of Papers, Please and get things done on time. So I never finished that, and I'm tempted to unlist it and stream it so I can finish. Because like I said, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so sometimes I'll unlist videos if I don't like how they turned out. I would like to unlist Papers, Please and then replay it. But as for our Gunderson problem, I need to go to the Shy Waste nuke plant and deliver the questionable package to the hotel. Oh, what's a doctor? Can you help me? Yes. They explain that they work for an insane. I don't care. Just give me the 50 million. You the runner? Here, catch. The guard throws the package at you and goes back to his job. It's just, this is a glass jug of Kool-Aid with no lid. What if I dropped it? Why did he throw it at me? Here's your Kool-Aid. See, the trick is it's not actually Kool-Aid. It's dyed water with cocaine dissolved in it, and they recombine it using some alchemy. It's a really stupid way to transport cocaine. I don't know why they did it, but... Go to the rat's nest. John Worley needs to go to the hotel. Yeah, I suppose if you get your buzzwords mixed up, you could confuse me saying a nonlinear platform for a Metroidvania. But when I say nonlinear platform, I mean like you're locked into that level, but the progression is just nonsense. Just bouncing back and forth, grabbing things before the door opens. I saw a Ronald McDonald nonlinear platform the other day, and it was just fucking ridiculous. Just like start on one corner, go to another corner. Just, I hate that. I fucking hate that style of game so much. And I think the reason I hate it is when I was a kid, one of the few games I had for my Sega Genesis, I had Shadowrun, I had Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I had Flicky, which I fucking despise the most, but then I had a game called James Pond 2. And fuck that game. James Pond 2 was a game where you were a fish secret agent in a robot suit, and his superpowers were to stretch really high, like a fish. And you could also jump on things like Super Mario, but you went to the North Pole to help Santa Claus, and you would think that this would be a very simple game because it's clearly written by children and made for children, but it was the most confusing, nonsensical, and difficult Sega game I've ever played in my life. I think that game had like a debug trick to get extra lives, and that still wasn't fucking enough. Oh my god, I hate that game. What else do we got? Here is the Dot Hack series a nope for you. I played the first one, I didn't hate it, but it looked like a very slow game, so I'm not in a rush to play it. I'm also unable to record PS2 games. I can only record things that run in HDMI. The Greenhouse. Let's go to the Halloweenies. There's a guy that speedruns this game. Speedruns Shadowrun? That would explain the huge surge of viewers. It's definitely a niche. Definitely a niche game to speedrun. Oh, Christ, it's Mr. Math. Got some grenades. I like to imagine he's not being sneaky about it all. He's just like an Italian merchant in the street. Grenades are for sale. 6 for 180. It's not like Lone Star's in this part of town. I think Lone Star literally does not patrol more than like a couple square blocks in Redmond Barrens, they said in Shadowrun Returns. Hotel, Jesse Weiss needs to go to the Jackal's Lantern. That guy lives the dream, lives in a capsule motel, pays by the day, gets blackout drunk and goes back, pays an armed man to help him. Grisassins. I was actually just checking. I was checking my Super Nintendo Shadowrun videos because I wanted to double check where that coffin motel was, and I think it's actually in the clip where I get attacked by Grisassins. I'm walking a little funny. Halloweeners, there you are. And then the grenade merchant just like walks by. He's like, bet you wish I had my grenades. 6 for 180. Rubbing in these poor guys' faces. I probably give them non-fatal wounds like a fucking Saturday morning villain because they just keep coming back. Community of Ghouls, speaking of keep coming back, there's fucking contracts from Gunderson. Weapon shop to the prison. Yeah, I was selling guns I wasn't supposed to. Lock me up. Walk away. Guy's just fucking following me. Now, when we do finally work up the courage for a ghoul run, an amazing fact that I learned. An amazing fact that I learned about ghoul runs is that the game can't keep track of where you go. So regardless of where they tell you to fight the ghouls, you can go into any building and just kill any 20 ghouls. So if you get a ghoul contract like in downtown Seattle, and he wants you to go to the Puyallup Barrens, you don't. You just go into an abandoned building in downtown Seattle, save yourself the cab fare, kill 20 ghouls. He doesn't know for some reason. Pays you full price. You gotta squeeze every penny. Nuke plant to the Halloweeners. That's a quick walk. Whoops, I just shot that shack. Someone's in there. I'm trying to sleep in here. I really hope those radioactive drums are empty. But, I mean, in a world where there are literally ghouls, maybe radiation isn't a big problem for you. Maybe it's actually, well, not easy to treat because you're a poor person, but medically it's plausible to treat radiation sickness in 2050. I mean, to me, Shadowrun Sega Genesis is a staple game because I had it when I was a kid, but I can see why it's not in the Sega collection. Whoops. Completely zoned out and threw that contract away. Disappointing, but I guess Drek happens. Let's see if I can find something more your speed. Thanks. Don't say ghouls. Motherfucker! Hoo-hoo, you got me again, Gunderson? No. Do you have any normal just plain work. Plain work for plain people. That's what I'm looking for. Little Chiba, thank you. Jackal's Lantern. Holy Christ. I think he shot his friend by accident when I fucking ran between them. I just Naruto ran between those guys. I'll fucking fight you. I got a predator. He's hitting his friend again. It's crazy because you can't accidentally hit escorts or your Shadowrunners, but these fucking Halloweeners will blast each other all day long. That's how you establish dominance, by the way. Just walk up to a man, take a step, fire your predator, take a step forward again. Oh, we're out of clips. This is where the game over happens. There we go. I need several clips, please. It's supposed to be called a magazine, a clips for a rifle. Delightful noise. There we go, that'll do. I don't want to max out all the attributes. I'm honestly just kind of zoned out. Good to get some karma out of the way. Computers is what I want. Salesman hands you a bulky package. Be careful with this, it's quite fragile. From what I've heard about Cyberpunk 2077, this might be filled with cybernetic penises. A Hollander walks up and pushes you. What the frag took you so long? I'm not used to waiting. You think he may attack, but instead he grabs the package of cybercocks and tosses you your payment. They're gonna have a fucking party tonight at the Jackal's Landing, I can tell you that much. That's why they call them the Wieners. Looking for some work. Little Chiba Neuromancer. Yeah, we haven't seen Alan Turing all night. It's been 2 hours and no Alan Turing. Little Chiba the Halloweeners. Did I mess that up? No, we delivered him. We delivered him properly. How are we doing for karma? Really zoned out. 22 karma. Which is actually not as much as you'd think. We can't even afford 2 skills in computer for that, but that'll give us 6 computer. Well, some soy camp would be just whiz. It sure would, but too bad. Actually, we're almost at computer 7. I mean, yeah, we can pretty much be a Nova Hot Decker by the time we get to the Redmond Barrens, which I feel is almost mandatory for how hit or miss the decking can be early on. Halloweeners, John Van Anthony needs an escort to the nuke plant. That's another fucking down the street escort. Love it. Oh, we'll be guessing passwords. We'll definitely be using the deception program in the Matrix. What runners am I planning on picking up for this playthrough? Yeah, we're gonna go with Walking Bear and Winston Mars. I sometimes I'll play games and I'll be like, we're doing something wacky with this playthrough, but I can just never not take Winston Mars. He's just an interesting character, and he's just so well rounded. I hate Stark. Stark's too strong. And I hate Eileen Two Fists because she's too weak and you get her way too late in the story. And that's really it for samurais. Best thing you can do after that is just grabbing a decker and giving him a gun. But we're a decker. A little cheap at the Jackal's Lantern. Have been stomped by ghouls yet? We've been intentionally denying about 5,000 ghoul contracts from fucking Gunderson because he's determined to murder us. A little cheap at the Jackal's Lantern. I'll tell you one thing. I can't get over the fact that these Halloweeners are chasing me. I can't get over the fact that nobody's tried to make a Shadowrun or Johnny Mnemonic style VR Matrix game now that we actually have the VR tech. What a fucking wacky world that would be. That was another little cheap at Halloweeners. That was more Cybercock. Community of ghouls. Oh, no. No. We won't be touching that until we at least hire Winston. And the thing is even if you get all 20 ghouls, I don't think it's that much karma. Because I think you get like 1 or 2 from the run, and then like a couple from killing all those ghouls. So risk reward. You're better off just doing these grunt runs. And like I said, I mean, the balance in the game isn't amazing, but I mean, it's a fucking game from 1993 on the Sega Genesis. What do you expect? It's also a licensed game. Licensed games tend to be pretty shit. That's another reason this game's so amazing. Halloweeners to the Rat's Nest, absolutely. Yeah, so I'm not surprised that like little quirks like this exist. It's like just never leave the Redmond Barrens and you get karma the most efficient way as far as being in danger. I mean, you could do something like you could mix it up with corp runs, but I mean, if you were to do like Renraku corp run and then another Renraku corp run and then another Renraku corp run to get money and karma, so that'd be very time consuming. I mean, like especially if the package is up on the top floor or something. You could argue that this is boring, but I honestly find Redmond Baron runs pretty relaxing because you're not in much danger. You're in a little danger, just enough to not fall asleep. Halloweeners to the Rat's Nest. Have I ever played VR? I haven't. I don't have room for it in my apartment, and I'm a little concerned I might get motion sickness, which would mean I'm out hundreds of dollars for the VR. Even though the tech's come a ways in like the last 5 or so years since it's been like commercially available, I'm definitely not ready to take the plunge. I'll wait until I can play Skyrim on like a treadmill and actually walk around and shit. That's when VR's for me. Did I leave too early? Yeah, we have to go to the Rat's Nest first. My employer thanks you. Tell your employer you need a nicer jacket, dude. Fucking studded leather jacket. You're not in an 80s rock band. Studies show that rock and roll's dying and will be supplanted by jazz very soon. Jump House. Take him next door to the Jackal's Lantern. Just closing time. You can't stay here. Well, I'll go next door then. Get out of the way. I'm on a mission. This was the first play that a lot of people watched, so it was definitely a no-brainer to decide to come back to this. There's other games that I'd like to revisit one day, like Vampire the Masquerade. Not all games. There's definitely some games where I was pretty satisfied with. It's like, you know, we never need to revisit this one. And that's one of the reasons I got into this, is it was nice to like finish games that I like kind of made it through. Almost every Final Fantasy I played when I was younger, I would like get to the final dungeon and get bored. So it's nice to finish a game and then be done with it. And there's most of the games on my channel are that. It's like, this was fun, time to go. But then there's games like Shadowrun where it's like, you know what, I'll just play this for fun. I wasn't paying attention to what he said. It might have been ghouls, so no. The motel. Take her to the rat's nest. But a lot of people asked to see Shadowrun again, so I'm glad I'm able to do it. I'm kind of rich and my gun's not empty yet, so I'll just fire one off in the air to celebrate like I'm at an Iranian wedding. And reload it. There we go. Whoops. Well, fuck. Time travel astronaut. Might Magic. Those games, I'm not sure what genre you want to call it. Blobber, dungeon crawler. I think there's another term for it that I can't remember. By the way, it is really fucking hard to find games like Wizardry and Might and Magic if you search for dungeon crawler, because so many other games have co-opted that term, and I hate it. It's like, oh, dungeon crawlers, like Diablo. It's like, how the fuck is Diablo a dungeon crawler? Diablo's a hack and slash, or it's a loot game. It's not a fucking dungeon crawler. There's zero crawling involved. They're very slow games. They're also rife with things you need to Google or depend heavily on the chat for. I'd like to play Might and Magic 3, Isles of Terror. I played it when I was very young on my Super Nintendo. I'd like to play it again. And then I would like to skip several. I'd probably play Might and Magic 3 and then like Might and Magic 7 and then Wizardry 8, just because you keep asking for Wizardry 8 and I'm afraid one day you'll find it where I live. And I have revisited Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, and I meant to upload it today, but I forgot. I don't think I'll have time to upload it until the weekend. But I brought it up several times. It's in the intro reel to my streams. Is I played Might and Magic Dark Messiah 3 or 4 years ago, which isn't the same as my highlight judo kick playthrough, unfortunately, so the jokes won't be the same, but I do need to get around to uploading it. Right now, though, I need to go from the prison to Little Chiba. Any chance you'll do Wild Arms 3? Absolutely. It's my favorite Wild Arms after Wild Arms 1. I just need to grab the copy off the PlayStation Store because I have the disc, but I can't record PS2 games like I said earlier. Wild Arms 3 is a fun one. What's this? Lone Star is the area cordoned off. Badges swarm the area with serious intensity. You decide it would be wise to leave until the heat dies down. Man, I am fucking just opening my own medkit shop, apparently. What the hell is this mission? Prison to Little Chiba. Yeah, definitely want to do Wild Arms 3. If you haven't seen it, my request list is quite long as far as like the length of games people ask for. Example, Wizardry 8. But there's a lot of games I'd like to play. Just I have a full-time job that is not making YouTube videos, so it takes a while to finish games. And then you've also got stuff like, people want me to play Dwarf Fortress and City Skylines again, and I want to play those too. But those could go on forever. Like, what is Dwarf Fortress up to? My Dwarf Fortress playlist is at like 40 or 50. Super long. Little Chiba, we need to go to the prison. Yeah, there's no armored bathrobe here, unfortunately, even though he probably... It's definitely not a bathrobe like Shaman. I don't even know how to describe this shirt. I look like a Vanilla Ice backup dancer almost. It's like it's not quite like a beater. It's got some bagginess to it. Just like that weird like early 90s fashion. It's like a silkier linen loose fitting shirt with a deep plunging neckline, but no sleeves. A muscle shirt. Would you wear shoes if you don't have any feet? No. Well then, Joshua, why do you wear a muscle shirt if you don't have any muscles? It looks like he has some biceps, but he's probably flexing on purpose in his little driver's license picture here to look tough. When he's probably just calling his mom right now to pick him up on his cyber deck. Yeah, it's me. Yeah, I didn't win the Magic the Gathering tournament this week. I'm ready to go home. Joshua, you fucking failure. Jump host of the nuke plant. And yeah, the armholes on this thing are fucking massive. It looks like the kind of like weird gym shirt that the hole just practically goes down to your waist. So your shoulders aren't constricted. Even though you'd have to be the mountain for your range of motion to be that constricted by a fucking shirt. I mean, if you just want to wear a loose, sleeveless shirt for comfort, be my guest, but let's not fucking pretend you're going to be paralyzed if there's not these massive holes for your tree trunk arms to come out of. What's my run? Went off on a tangent about my goofy ass shirt. Jump host of the nuke plant. I don't want to be responsible for it no more. That's what he said about this crack. Is there? Look at, you're right. You're absolutely right. I'm going to lift up the curtain here because this is an emulator. This isn't my Sega Genesis. So we have access to the mouse cursor. Oh, no, we don't. I actually set it up so that didn't accidentally happen. Like that time when I was playing Beyond Oasis and the mouse cursor was on the screen for like 5 videos. And people tried to warn me in vain, but the playthrough was already done. I've managed to disable the mouse on this playthrough, but I can't highlight it. Use your imagination. There is a little bit of skin right next to the keyboard. That is a fucking massive V-neck. We call that a capital V-neck, not a lowercase. The prison to the motel. Perfect timing. We should sleep and level up. Whoop. Gangland trouble. For them. Oh no, call a dock wagon, call a dock wagon. For you. The trick, of course, is that you don't call the dock wagon. It knows because you wear the bracelet. I mean, to be fair, it kind of makes sense for him to dress like that as a Decker, because you're right. If he's just in some fucking server room all day sweating up a storm, you want to keep it breezy. Some soy camp will be just whiz right about now. Let's go and sleep. Oh boy. More karma. Did I say just more computers, or was I going to level something else up? Let's just stick with computers. 7 computer. I think that's pretty high. I think now we can start to work on a negotiation, which will help us pay for our Decker programs, because it's time to go. Not like leave the stream, we can go a little bit longer, but I think it's time to buy our brother's stuff. Start to dabble in the world of decking. I'm here to pick up Michael's stuff. Small change. Slot this cred and I'm gone. The creds roll off your stick, and in return you're handed a crumpled plastic box. Opening it, you find a scented letter, a cyber deck, a wristband, and 2 holopics. The letter addressed to Michael reads as follows. M. I don't trust our Johnson, and neither should you. His story just doesn't wash, and you know it. I'm out on this one, and I hope you are too. I'll wait for you at the Terraslar City Inn in the Puyallup Barrens. Tabitha Shale. Tell me more. The cyber deck's a small Allegiance Alpha that hasn't seen much use. These decks are fine to dabble in cyberspace, but lack real power. It's mostly just for Googling things, maybe some light pornography. Order some BTL chips about smoking cocaine. The wristband is a dockwagon homing beacon. When its wearer's condition becomes critical, a dockwagon trauma team is dispatched to retrieve him. The wearer is then resuscitated and dropped off at Seattle General Hospital. Tell me more. The fee's around 10% of the wearer's cred stick balance, guaranteed not to exceed 5,000 Nuyen. You slip it on your wrist and lock the clasp. See, if he fucking wore this to Salashid, he wouldn't have died. It's a holopix of Dr. Ivana Haversheen, MD, Seattle General Hospital, Haversheen Clinic. She's kind of a big deal if it's named after her. Maybe not, though. My eye doctor has his office in the hospital. So it sounds like he's very important, but he's just an eye doctor. Tell me more. Mr. Caleb Brightmore, Esquire. Problem solved. Worries eliminated. Tell me more. Finally, you uncover a cred stick hidden under the holopix. It is a balance of 500 Nuyen. The irony of this discovery wears off after a moment. So how are we doing here? I mean, we have a lifetime supply of medkits. That'll give us some more walking around money. Almost $2,000. But that's still not enough. Winston Mars costs at least $3,000. Actually, I think that's like with level 3 or 4 negotiation from a shaman. Winston Mars costs a lot of money and we don't have it. So the best we can do is buy a temporary contract with Winston Mars, do some decking, and then come back to Redmond and grind karma with him. And I think that's what we'll do. Because as long as he doesn't die, his rate won't go up. Fellas, please. Are you in the Halloweeners now? Get out of the fucking way. Just runs at me. Oh, he's so handsome. Look at that V-neck. I just want to dive into it and see where it goes. Alright, we're going to go hire Winston Mars because I need a bodyguard while I deck. Mostly in case of black ice fries my fucking brain and needs to administer first aid to me. Call the taxi. Of course, we've played this game before. We know that Winston lives in the Penumbra district. Need a ride, chum? You say you want to get to the Penumbra district. No perspiration, chum. It'll cost you 20 million to get there. How about it? Sure thing, cabbie. And you know, he makes a big deal about it when you go to the other places. Oh man, Redmond Barrens, that's going to cost you a lot. That's going to cost you 40 million. A $40 cab ride to go to another city is a fucking bargain. All right? A company man storms up to you. Hey, you can't get away with this. Don't think I don't recognize you. Let's talk it out. I have no charisma. The man remains irate, and soon a Lone Star Patrol approaches to take care of the matter. They seem more interested in you, so the man quietly slinks off. Come here, son. We want to talk to you. I haven't broken the law yet. Hello. Keeping your cool, you answer all of your questions convincingly. Finally, Lone Star continues on its way. Joshua, the Decker's a bit of a fucking wiener. He probably went into a long essay answer about how Red Dwarf's a better story than Star Wars, and they just fucking gave up and left. Oh, Christ, he's talking about British television. Let's get the fuck out of here. Just because the series is shorter doesn't mean the stories are less interesting. Come back! It's his cat, but it evolved because he was frozen for so long. Crowds part as you're approached by a Lone Star Patrol. Hang on, you that fucking guy talking about Red Dwarf? Yes. Alright, we managed to dodge that. This restaurant's called the Big Rhino. It specializes in orc gourmet dishes and is actually quite popular with those who can stomach dishes like live worms and sprouts. I always read that wrong. Live worms and sprouts. Because it's not like the sprouts are also alive. It's just some bean sprouts served with worms. Another reason I like Winston Mars is one, there's a Johnson here I forget about. Apparently I lean over the chair like a stalker. Hey there, you got some work for me? Not only is Winston Mars here, not only is there a Mr. Johnson, as this bar is free to get into regardless of your reputation. This is a wonderful bar. You move into the booth. Bodyguards search for hidden weapons on your body. When they're satisfied, a voice speaks from the shadows. Tell me more. Well, what have we here? A Shadowrunner looking for work. I'm Mortimer Reed, and if you serve me well, we both can make a lot of million. I'm looking for information, Morty. I hate to give anything away, so I'm loath to discuss any information with you for free, but as it is the custom to do so, I'll part with it begrudgingly. Tell me more. However, I do know a valuable contact whom I believe you could benefit from. I could impart you with the name for 1,500 million, and we could afford this. But I forget who it is. Contract? I can get you in touch with a corporate acquaintance of mine. He's been around and knows things that would be useful if you were going to run on a corporation. Would you like to purchase a new pal? The contact system in this game was really cool. But it's kind of underdeveloped. It's like a bunch of them aren't good. Some of them are just priced wrong. Some of them are just shittier versions of other ones. Like I think Gunderson gives you a very bad version of another arms dealer that's way better. Anyways, I'm not looking for work because I don't want to get stuck in a contract with you. Goodbye. This guy reminds me of a character from Tyrants, or it was called Megalomaniac in Europe, I think. And I don't know why I get that vibe from this art. I guess it's because I played Tyrants on my Sega. That's another game that kind of handles like a PC game. Anyways, goodbye. Need to hire my Google bodyguard. An armed troll studies you with his largest pupil. You want something? Let's learn more about Winston, even though we used him in our last playthrough. I'm looking for some information. I guess I might be able to help. What's your story, chummer? The name's Mars. Did you know he was the god of war? Not with 2 R's he wasn't. I see things different than most. The fastest way to solve a problem is to shove a gun at it and shoot. Problem is I can't do this all the time. I run out of bullets too fast. $25 a clip. Sounds like his fucking problem. Tell me more. So I started to think, how can I get paid to shoot at people? Then it hit me. Join Lone Star. They can shoot at anyone they like and get free reloads. So I studied real hard, but you know what? I was thrown out. So now I'm here looking for work. Questions? What do you want? Tell me about the Halloweeners. The Halloweeners own Redmond. They're the sort of low-end trash I used to hang with before I got more educated. They beat on unsuspecting targets, but flee when things get too hairy. I gotta fucking stop you right there, Winston, because I've killed like 30 of these guys, and they never ran away. Still, they're a lot tougher than the I-5ers. More questions? What do you know about Lone Star? Lone Stars, I hate them. They think they're so whiz, walking the streets in their regulation body armor and shooting at anyone they want. I hate them. Don't bring up that subject again. All right, well, how about something a little more appropriate? Like, what the fuck is wrong with your ears? Why are you a troll? He looks like he's going to lose his temper, but stays calm. I didn't ask to be like this, you know. I was normal like you when I was younger. But now I'm 7 feet 4 inches a troll. Do you know how hard it is to buy clothes that fit? That's enough to make me want to shoot someone. His grip tightens on his pistol, which is funny because I think he comes with a shotgun. Anyways, I'm looking for a good runner. Care to sign on? Do we get to shoot people? Ideally, not yet. I charge $380 for a single run, but if you can cough up $3,800, my services are at your disposal. Of course, either way I get my percentages. See that right there? Either way I get my percentages. That's related to him taking his cut and then quitting. But we're going to basically do the slavery with extra steps and keep him short term. You got me, pal. No regrets, you'll see. Now he won't leave until we collect payment from a Johnson, which these mid-range Johnsons in downtown will do that, but Gunderson won't. We only talk to Gunderson for ghouls. Yeah, he tightens his grip on his pistol. I'm sorry, do you mean your Allegiant shotgun? I guess when you're 7 feet tall, that thing might look like a fucking long-barrel musket pistol. Anyways, I'm sure you're all familiar with where we're going. It's that computer right next to the man that you sell data to. Let's save our game, just in case things really fall apart. All right. I'm jacked in. I'm jacked in. Let's get jacked in. I'm jacked in. What a fucking weird IP address, but I mean, it was the 80s. All right. Programs we want for the Matrix. Attack becomes necessary when masking failed. I mean, I kind of want to take Analyze, but we don't have room on our cyber deck right now. We need to make some starter money. Deception to slip our way in. We could get some sleaze later, you know, pour the mustard on. But for now, we got to get by with just this. Oh no. An unknown computer network. The password is Shadowrun. The password is Earthdawn. Oh, fuck. Earthdawn's a shit game. Fight. I think I'll have a good hit rate, but low damage. Because our attack is only level 3. Uh-oh. But remember, we have tar pits removed. So we're not in too much trouble. Unlisted system access node, green 4. Now, some things about the Matrix. I've already forgotten most of it. I read about it a while back. Holy shit, the password is not Shadowrun. You're right. The color denotes the difficulty of a node, but the color also denotes the value of a data file. And the other thing that denotes the value of a data file is its size. So what you want is red nodes of a particular size. I think like 16 MPs. Not necessarily because they're worth more, but you want a certain number that you can shove as many into your deck as possible. But it goes green, orange, red. Reds are the most dangerous nodes, but their data is the most valuable. The name of the data is actually irrelevant. It's just the raw size I read. Well, the size, like, they might always be a certain size, but it's not like, oh, like, bank data is always, they give me one. It's like you want like a 20 MP bank file. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if bank files are always the best size or not. Size and color for sure are what we want. All right, we're in the SPU. Well, shit, we got to go through this other SPU. We're trying to find a data store here. All right, the password is puppy3. Puppy4. Whoa! That was just tar paper. This one's fucking fighting back, though. Actually, we do not have a lot of health on this deck. We might get disconnected here. Christ. Didn't even get near the data store. But random system search can send you to any system, right? So this might not necessarily be a good... Whoa, this node saw me coming. Actually, this is a problem, because if I remember... this breaks the deck. We have to go get it fixed. Ooh, a little distortion there. I think that's... I don't think that's the ROM corrupting. I think that's actually intentional when you get disconnected with a busted deck. I should have just jacked out. But now we can see what we're working with for our Matrix upgrades. I'm dumb. We'll go to the Renraku Arcology, pay top $1 for overpriced garbage. Because then we get to listen to this fucking amazing music. This song, my god. Alright, so in this one part of the game, they go to like this high-class place. It's the most powerful corporation in Seattle. It's got the nicest shops. Well, I suppose I'd want it to sound like a Star Trek cantina, wouldn't I? There's a sudden disturbance up ahead, by the way. You glimpse someone taking your picture with a holocam. The person quickly disappears in the crowd. Look at the size of this fucking V-neck. Wait till I tell everybody about this. They're just going to build a statue of me in Japan when that guy goes home. Oh, Big V, Big V. Yes, hello. The name's Joshua. That was the magic shop, not my problem. We're looking for the computer shop. Microtronics is the store for the serious Decker. That's me. Although it has some high-quality software and hardware, it's hampered by the fact that its stock must be legal. I mean, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you only need 2 programs, attack and deception. And it's funny, it's like, legal programs you can have. Something that can destroy every program on the fucking planet. I could hack the White House with an attack level 12. It's like, oh yeah, that's legal. Second Amendment. Is that sleaze? Sleaze is legal? How do I fix myself? I forgot how to fix myself. Maybe you fix yourself for free. Extra memory, extra storage, load I/O speed, deck response. That's too expensive. This is tempting. This is where utilities and data files are stored. These take up storage space equal to their size. No. I'm priced out of all my cyber decks. This is tempting. Shield actually reduces. You'd want, I think there's an illegal one that deflects it. Mirrors confound dice in their deckers, decreasing their attacks accuracy. Mirrors degrades every 4 seconds, so you need a very fast deck to run it. And the problem is a lot of these programs don't serve a purpose, but as a decker, I'd like to try them, which means we'll need to grab some contacts. I guess we don't need to fix the deck. I thought we needed to fix the deck when we got kicked out. Is there anything I want to buy? I can't even afford my next level of attack. So we got to get some pretty serious decking. And we're nearing the time to stop. It's getting late. But I would like to get some decking in before we go, because really, I mean, tonight was all Redmond runs. Tomorrow is probably going to be a lot of decking, and then more Redmond runs. Because really, there's not that much of the game, honestly. It's a great loop of, like, doing the runs and then, like, getting the karma and the money and feeling great. Okay, your MPCP chips are fried. Get them fixed. Okay, I do have to fix it. But yeah, it's probably going to be like grind karma for a night, grind money for a night, grind karma for another night, and then just repeat that until I'm strong enough to beat the story. There's not a lot of reason to go dicking around doing random missions, honestly. MPCP is fried. The heart of the deck, this controls the appearance of... I think this is it, I think. Yeah. So $600. I just lost $600 fucking up that run. So remember, I guess, we want to jack out the next time. Because I think as long as we don't fry the chip, we don't have to pay to fix it. But if we have to pay to fix the chip, we might be actually in trouble. This is actually where my last run fell apart when I was trying to make Winston and melee characters. Got the shit kicked out of me in the Matrix, and I didn't know what to do next. Alright, load that. Because there's no more tar pits, just tar paper. Alright, let's try Puppy with no numbers. Was caps lock on? Maybe it is case sensitive. Let's try Phineas Irk. One word. Whoop! Oh fuck, this is what killed us last time. Oh no you don't. Fuck this. Yeah, I have 7 in computer. I think attack is just... Attack? The attack program. The attack program should just be the damage. I don't think it's the success chance. So we're like over halfway to max in this skill, and we're having a hell of a time. Although maybe... Oh, hello? No security. XX_puppy_XX. Who the fuck makes that their password? Puppylovers.com official website. Well, there you go. Christ. I mean, once we get the CPU, we're in, but we got to get through a CPU. And you know what? There is no security on the entrance, but I think it's very unlikely that you can ever hack the CPU with deception. What's that, a trace and burn? We'll get completely kicked out and injured if that thing finishes. And I don't know if it blocks the jack out. Good hit rate, but this is going to be a photo finish. Failure. We have like time for 2 more and then I got to jack out. This needs to kill him. Nope, not worth it. Until next time, puppylovers.org. We're still in the hole here. We got to make like 600 new yen. This is weird. Success unknown, defense unknown. Isn't that weird? Or maybe it'll show me when I'm up against it. It has to be relative to the node I'm attacking. Is the password Legolas420? Some sort of video game website. Let's try Legolas420 again. Alright, now. No scope underscore 360? It's a perfectly legitimate tactic. Password rejected. Oh, this is bad. This is, I honestly, I think I'm gonna have to go back and watch my old run because I don't know how we got over this hump of being new to the Matrix but not having any fucking money. Because we would have to pretty much do Redmond Baron runs for like another hour to afford 1 extra level in attack, and like, is the difference in level 3 and level 4 attack gonna help me that much? The alert level is going to go up soon, even though he's not hurting us. And I think once we go to red alert, there's a chance he can turn into a program that can attack us directly. Like the cloud that shoots ninja stars isn't that bad, but there's a chance that there could be a black ice, and I think when we're fighting a black ice, we're not allowed to disconnect. No sneak program. I don't have one installed, no. I think that's Sleaze. And the problem is Deception stands just as good of a chance, and that actually conquers the node for us. Probably the only time you'd want to sleaze is the CPU, if you're not comfortable fighting the CPU on that system. This is fucking pathetic. We're going to get an active alert here. Program's going to get promoted. I think I speculated in my old run that the lower levels of the program, not the lower, but like the B and C, as opposed to the Lightning Bolt A. The B and the C have different hit rates, but less damage. Alright. I cannot get a fucking system with an unprotected data node. I always have to go to the CPU. Now we have to fight the CPU on a passive alert. There's a chance passwords won't work on passive. Is the password guessed? That is one fucking angry node. Holy shit. Decent success rate on the attack, right? It's half. Alright, that was too high. This could be really bad if this turns into a black ice, because if anything on this network's going to have black ice on it, it's going to be the CPU. And this is the computer version of Mana Zoop. Holy shit. We're active now. Actually, I wonder if I can change my posture before I go into the Matrix, Justin. Because this is just sending out traces. This should transform soon. Because this one can't disconnect me. This isn't a dangerous program. Let's try the thorn. Ah, yeah, this decking, man, because it's like it tells you this isn't meant for serious decking, but well, there's the tar paper. Don't stand so close to me, Winston. That's weird. You could argue that maybe an entry-level decking contract with a Johnson would be an easier system, but I'm not sure. That's curious. This is identified already. Have I been here before? This is where I just was. Huh. The implication is I was able to get through here. What was this? Legolas 420? And then, yeah, the fucking CPU's blocking the goddamn data stores. Oh boy. And then, I wasn't able to get through last time, but I think we can get through this. Let's try Harry Nips 82. God damn it, failure activates the node. And then this. Well, we've been here before, so we can see the node's health. Although I'm still a fucking terrible shot. I really don't want to go near that CPU on an active alert, that's for sure. What is going on here? That's a lot of failure. There we go. We can try, we can hope against hope that we can hack this CPU here. Is the password admin? It's not. That's like, what is this? This is like a level 5 or 6 program. And we're trying to hit it with attack 3s? Oh boy. I don't think we can crack this system. I don't know what to do. It looks like we might just need to do a huge batch of Redmond missions. We have one last recourse, which is we can go talk to Mortimer Reed and try to pick up a baby Matrix mission. Whoop! See it. Thank God I turned off tar pits. Alright. You're the boss, Winston. We'll see if Mortimer Reed has a baby's first Matrix run for us. I hope so, because the other mid-range Johnson is we have to pay to get inside his bar, and I don't want to do that. Is this the hotel or the bar? This is the bar. Yeah, we just need to find a low-level, like you said. We need a low-level matrix system so that we can reliably hack into the data store. I'm looking for some work. Step right up and I'll brief you in on a job I'm positive you'll excel at. Go to the local office at Mitsahama. A package was taken from a courier of mine. Absolutely not. Really, I hate all corp missions. It's just so much work. It's a noble effort to try and recreate the corp run, from the pen and paper game, but it's just such an undertaking, and the money they give you is so shit. Like, this guy wants a change in career. I just have to break into a corporate compound and escort him out. And I'll be given $400 for my services. Like, I'm not moving his fucking couch over the weekend for a couple beers. You want me to kidnap a man from corporate property? Mitsuhama again. They've been stirring up a lot of shit with Mortimer Reed, apparently. Neat. Is he always like this, Winston? Now, if you want to be greasy, is what you do is you take one of those a package was stolen from you jobs, and then you go inside and you cast invisible, and you check all the safes near the front door, all the safes that don't need a maglock key. And if it's not in those safes, you leave and you walk back in until it is. And that's safe money. Probably easier to just work for Gunderson, but... Looks like I have a simple Matrix run lined up next. A local office has a new director of operations. Bring me a copy of their personnel records from their management data store. At that time, you'll receive payment. $430. So that will mostly pay for the chip we broke earlier. Unfortunately, as soon as we turn this mission in because we're being paid by the Johnson, Winston will want his cut, which makes him leave. Mr. Johnson logs the run on his pocket secretary and downloads the information to you. I have loaded a recognition program and passcode into your deck. Thanks, my friend, and good luck. Yeah, it's that guy that talks about Red Dwarf. Better stop him. Hey, did you know that sometimes there's large gaps between the series? Years at a time. Okay, see ya. The production value really went up later. There's a disturbance up ahead. Impressive figures pass through the parting crowd. Your first impression is that they're veteran Shadowrunners. Then you see they're wearing gang colors? Tell me more. They continue on down the street, in an air of confidence, not bothering to harass those they pass. Gang's going pro? You doubt it. Shrugging, you can continue on your way. And yeah, I don't need to level them up, Justin. Even though they get angry and their rates go up when they die, their equipment and their stats are persistent. So any karma he banks will remain. And he actually hasn't acquired any karma. We haven't done anything yet. Alright, we'll save it again just to pretend that we're not abusing save states, which we're not. I mean, I'd rather not. I don't think it... You don't really need to fuck with save states in Shadowruns. It's a pretty simple game. Enter passcode, run passcode. Alright. This better be fucking simple, Morty. Unlisted. Oh, maybe it's doglovers.com. Or actually... I think maybe the implication is that the password Mortimer gives us is how we crack that first node. Well, here's the CPU. If we can beat this, we beat the run. Oops, I forgot to load a tag. Huh. I think that was a bug, because the last time we fought a CPU, it broke our program as we jacked out. So I think it was just finishing that animation. Anyways, is the password HarryNips83? Black Ice, Mortimer Reed. This seems like a very low-level Black Ice, thank God. Or it was just lowering my defenses by letting me hit it a couple times. Like, the animation of the node infers its level, and this has got to be like a level 2 Black Ice. Look at how fucking slow it's going. Dodging this shit like an anime protagonist. Better luck next time, kid. Ooh, nice moves, but I'm better. He hasn't even lowered my health yet, and that's how weak he is. And I put no points in body yet. There we go. Our first successful system hack. Cancel alert even though there is no alert. Run diagnostics for confirmation. Go to node. Now there's multiple data stores, and we just need to milk them. We need to find the strongest one. The password is admin. I fucking taken over the CPU. Thank you. Green's the worst data store. Perfect. The good thing is if we fuck up one of these nodes and the alert goes up, we just double back to the CPU which we own, shut the alert off. So we have the run of this place. We don't have a lot of room on our deck is the problem for any memory we steal. Admin. Fuck you. Oh man, this is a simple run for simple deckers. Look at these fucking trash nodes they're defending it with. I think I'm just hacking like someone's grandpa. I don't think this is an actual business. Tax returns 2011? What the fuck is this? They're all greens. Makes sense, it's a simple network. So we just have to not go into the node that's for the run, because that will make a chunk of our memory assigned to the run file, which we can't sell, which will be worthless. Admin. Goddamn right. If anything, I think we want to spend money on deception. Whoop, here we go. Financial data. Orange is better than green, so transfer some data. Browsing the data store, you find nothing of interest. We own the CPU. Ooh, corporate account. That's going to be big fucking money. That might have been our whole hard drive right there. Capital expenditure, no available storage. All right, well, let's just do this. You find a file that appears important and obliterate it from memory. Score 1 for the downtrodden hacker. That was an alert. I don't care because we're done. That alert will reset anyways. Now I don't think we're not guaranteed to earn money off this, but that was a large file. I've got some data I'd like to sell. He gestures to the terminal on his desk. Well, hook your deck on up to my old hog here and we'll get down to biz. Oh, this file here, corporate account, I might be able to find a use for the info. How's about I offer you 400 million? Okay. Looks like we reached the big end of file marker. Y'all know to come back to me when you get more data. We need to invest in the future, Winston. Not in you, in me. We need more hard drive space. But we're basically going to pad our bank account with that system tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow. I think we can do one more run on that system, but... Thanks for coming out to watch Shadowrun. Apparently everyone's been waiting 10 years for this. A lot of people came out. But this is the new stream game. So we'll be back at it tomorrow. What does deception cost me? Is deception not a legal program? We might have to buy it in the Barrens. Extra memory, that's RAM. This is what we want. That's the max storage on this deck. Let's do one last run. Well, one last decking adventure on this Shadowrun specific matrix system. Like to clear a couple $1,000. Yeah, we need to find who sells deception because that needs to level up. I mean, it's only a level 2 program. Is the password Grandpa? No. Actually, I might be forgetting something. I think there's certain nodes you're never allowed to use deception on. There's some subtleties to this that are never explained. Maybe in the manual. I should try to find the actual manual for this. And I was right. It's a barrier level 2. And then the black ice is level 1. That's a weak system. I mean, you got tricked. If you're running black ice on your system, but it's a level 1, if it's black ice version 1.0, you got fucking tricked by that salesman. That's not stopping anything. All right, we got a lot more storage, though, so let's head over to the financial data and start scooping that shit up. I think for efficiency, I will double-check the math on these data files. Is the password giant sphere? That makes sense. There's no reason for it to be giant sphere. I like this system, though. All these level 2 nodes make me feel like a big boy when I can hit them. Except right now. Or right now. Just don't fry the chips. We still haven't made back all our money on those chip repairs earlier. Whoop. Whoop. Huh, this guy's taking a while to die. Luckily, he doesn't send out alerts. So he's just trapped in the no alert state. Because I think you level up once per alert level, so if we were active alert, he'd actually be level 4. I might be full of shit. Like I said, there's a lot to the Matrix. The Matrix is practically its own game. There's basically 2 games in Shadowrun. There's walking around the overworld, which is, you know, corporations, hellhounds in the wilderness, and then there's Matrix. Browsing the data store, you find bank account numbers. Goddamn right. Nothing of interest. Nothing of interest. We're fine. Local accounts 60. I mean, that's a large file. It might be something like specific increments are valuable, like, you know, maybe a 60 MP file is always worth nothing. I read it just a couple weeks ago. I'll have to find that Matrix documentation. Might have room for one more file. I grabbed some pretty fat ones. I got some chunkers on my deck here. No available storage. I fucking should have known. Well, we'll sell this, save our game, and call it a night. I'll see you again tomorrow with more Shadowrun. Got some data I'd like to sell. Name's Roscoe. My biz is buying info and selling it off to the highest bidder. You got any data for me, partner? Sorry, you got any data for me, partner? And I'll gladly give you a fair deal. I've got some data I'd like to sell. 900 for the bank account numbers. He definitely made out like a fucking bandit on that one. Whoa, there you are. That's a 60 MP file. We sold it for 2,400. That's more money than we've made all night, I think. No, not quite, because we bought the armor jacket and we had $1,800 already, so almost as much money as we made tonight. This file here, corporate account, it's fucking useless. It's just shitty email addresses of marketers nobody likes. This is also useless. Well, still, we made like 3,000 nuyen there. That's almost enough to pretend we should upgrade our deck, but we're going to be spending a lot of time in that system next time, tomorrow, to get money. Until then, I hope you enjoyed watching Shadowrun. I'll see you later.